And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank you for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live in the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere. We got to talk about Antonio Brown, NFL football player. This story is pretty crazy. For a variety of reasons. I think the main thing for me is the way it's being handled in the media. You know, if you are part of this, I'm not sure what to call it, the LGBTQ, feminist, leftist sphere, you're treated one way. But if you're not, if you're just a regular guy, you're treated an entirely different way. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, we'll talk about these social media platforms, Twitter and Gettr. Gettr is like the so-called free speech platform version of Twitter. Is it really free speech? Maybe, maybe not. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, the new New York mayor, Eric Adams, is out there in the field, and he's saying some things that had some people a little bit upset, a little bit butthurt, whatever you want to call it. We'll talk about that as well. There's an update on Brandon Brown, the NASCAR driver. I did a video about him having a sponsor, the Let's Go Brandon cryptocurrency coin. We'll talk about that in a minute. There is an update for that. I don't think NASCAR is too happy about this potential endorsement. Also, the Chicago public schools have shut down, literally. They're not in session today, which is Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. And they won't be for 2 more weeks. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank you guys for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoyed what you're hearing thus far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. We got a whole lot going on tonight. And where I'm going to start with first is my sponsors. You know, I'm supposed to do that at the beginning of my live streams just because I can, just because I want to. Of course, myself, I'm generally my own sponsor for the most part. I have other sponsors, so thank you guys for being there. But ABLmerch.com, check it out. We got hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right on the website. You can get things that I produce on that website, ABLmerch.com. We got more merch coming soon. Y'all just stay tuned to the website. Also, go to my regular website, AnthonyBLogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Check it out. Every video I produce, I write an article for, and those articles are on that website. So when anybody asks me about the sources, where did I get it from? Is it left wing, right wing? Is it independent? Whatever. The sources are always in the section below the article itself. So check it out, AnthonyBLogan.com. If you want to send me something in my snail mail, my P.O. box, my email address, and thank you guys that do send me things in my snail mail, in my email, my social media platforms, all those things are on the contact page of AnthonyBLogan.com. One more again for the folks in the back. That's ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Don't get triggered by the B because it ain't nothing else but a B. Or the OK symbol, nothing weird. And of course, shout out to PatriotPost.us, the best source of news and information, memes, whatever you want, anywhere on the internet. PatriotPost.us, PatriotPost.us. is in the description box below. Also, go to bhedesigns.com. As I always say, I get questions all the time. ABL, where can I get your flags? How can I get those flags? You can get ones just like those, or a custom one just for yourself, or a selection from their website on bhedesigns.com. Check them out. Use those links in the description box below to let them know that I sent you straight to their website. So you didn't just happen to pawn it randomly. You got it straight from ABL. All right. And did I get everybody? That's pretty much all my sponsors. Oh, and also this will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform as a podcast. So if you want to hear the replay and you don't want to have that big video bandwidth on your internet usage, don't even worry about it. Go to the link in the description for the podcast. It'll be on Apple iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, etc. And if you want to just search for me, you should be able to find me by searching for ABL Live. I should pop right on up. And if you're listening to me on one of those platforms, thank you for that. Give me a 5-star rating. Give me a review. Give me a thumbs up. Give me something to help the whole podcast get really rocking and rolling the way it's supposed to be on those platforms. Again, links for that will be in the box if you're not already listening to me on those aforementioned platforms. So we got a few things going on. Let's talk about, where do I want to go first? I think I want to start with Twitter and Gettr. I'm gonna start with Twitter and Gettr and kind of work my way on through it. Get to some of the more deeper topics, some of the deeper topics, not more deeper. But anyway, so this is a very interesting story to me because I was seeing people for a while. It's like kind of like a mass exodus from Twitter, or not a mass exodus. I want to say people were looking at Gettr as an alternative to Twitter. Basically, from what I'm able to see, from what I'm able to read, it's like a Twitter clone, but they promote themselves, or it's being promoted as a free speech platform. The problem is that it has been funded by China, indirectly or directly, whatever you want to say. So there's one guy by the name of Miles Guo Wenji, aka Miles Kwok, KWOK, who helped fund it, but the money came from a different guy by the name of William G, J.E. This guy is tied into the Chinese Communist Party, William G. Not Miles Guo Wenji, but William G. Now, some are saying, well, nah, Miles Guo or Miles Kwok, he's a CCP, he's anti-CCP. He is a CCP dissident. He does not like them. But what I was able to read, and if I'm wrong about my research, y'all please let me know, he had an issue with a certain faction within the Chinese Communist Party. Because the way it is in China, if you don't know, obviously is one party. But at the same time, it's not one party. Look at it like this. If you only had one party here in the U.S. right now, there's factions in it. Some say that we are on a one-party system right now, that this is left wing, right wing, or whatever. But there is a clear difference between the left and the right. There's an obvious difference, okay? You're talking about abortion and guns and things of that nature. There's a clear difference between the left and the right. So if there was just one party officially, there'd be factions. And within the left and the right, as we have it today, there's factions. You have the kind of neocons, you got the more Trump conservatives, and you got different little things. The 1,000-year-old people, the new guys like Madison Cawthorn, the young guys. And on the left, you have the Squad, the AOC, Ilhan Omar. And then you have the skeletons, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. You have factions within the parties over here in the U.S. It's the same thing over in China. And the reason why I think Miles Guo Wenji or William G, either one, there was a beef with the internal, the particular faction in the CCP, because that faction had punished or did something against one of his sponsors. So there was some inner CCP conflict. It wasn't necessarily against CCP itself. So you can't necessarily see the CCP as one giant entity. If a guy has an issue with a certain faction of the CCP, that does not mean he's totally anti-CCP, all right? Now, if I am a person, I'm on Twitter, right, and I say, man, this is not really fair over here. I want to go to a place where they champion free speech, where they respect my freedom, where they respect my rights, all this and that and the third, and I don't want to go to control opposition, then I'm not sure I want to go to Gettr, because Gettr has Chinese money, like $75 million US of Chinese money. Now, I hear that Jason Miller and Steve Bannon are involved, but I'm not sure to what extent. Are they involved with the money? I'm not really sure. Do they even really know about the Chinese money and how deep it goes? I don't know. All that I do know is that if there's a bunch of Chinese money in Gettr, and I want to go there because Twitter's acting up and Twitter's censoring me, I'm not sure I want to go there. And I already saw where Gettr had censored, what's the boy's name, Nick Fuentes? Not a fan of his at all, of course, but they censored him straight away, like immediately. they blocked him right away. It's because, like, these alternative media platforms, they have to still abide by certain rules to even get on the Apple, the Apple App Store and Google Play, Google's App Store. This is why Parler has no app, as far as I know. Do they have an app? I'm not really sure if they have an app or not. I know Gab, I think Gab is web based, no app, because they can't get the app on the web store, on the Apple App Store or on Google Play, because they quote unquote violate the terms of service, even on the App Store. And I think Parler had got deplatformed by Amazon Web Services, the hosting platform that hosts a lot of websites all over the world, big websites, talking about like Wells Fargo Bank, really big websites, right? They deplatform Parler because of terms of service. So if you are a alternative media platform and you're on big tech, you're probably not necessarily that alternative. Okay. If you really want to be alternative, go straight web only, be in Canada or somewhere, like do something like that. Then I'd be like, all right, that's cool. But if you're just like a regular app and you got Chinese money, I'm not sure I really trust that. And the same way I don't trust TikTok at all. TikTok is a virus itself. Okay. China gave us the coof, the sweet and sour sniffles, the Omarion. They gave us that, right? They also gave us the virus known as TikTok. Shout out to Trump. Trump was trying to ban it. He had all intents and purpose. Like he was really trying to ban it. He knew that it was going to be a problem, but unfortunately he was not able to do so. I wish that he was able to go ahead and ban it, because TikTok is also a virus that comes straight from China. Okay. And it's controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. Oh, ABL, they have American operations. Okay. All right, whatever. It's controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. Let's just keep it all the way real. It's a Chinese company controlled by China. And the funny part is that they don't even allow TikTok in China, although it's Chinese. Okay. It's a Chinese social media app that's banned in China. They have their own version of TikTok called Douyin, but Douyin is not TikTok. It's the same thing. It's a clone of TikTok, but it's not TikTok, meaning the content that they see on Douyin is not the same content that you see on TikTok. Your kids dancing to all this LGBT stuff. They don't do that in China. They got their own little version of it. They'll give you some Chinese content on TikTok for propaganda. So when you scrolling on there, looking at these girls in yoga pants and people doing TikTok dances and, getting smacked in the head with a baseball, when you see all that kind of stuff float across your screen, here's a Chinese, some beautiful Chinese imagery, people in traditional clothing, the flute playing, and then it's something about how great China is and how good Xi Jinping is and how great the Great Leap Forward was, how Tiananmen Square wasn't really that bad and it didn't happen. That's TikTok. It's a propaganda machine. It's a virus itself. Okay, so shout out to Trump for trying to ban it, but unfortunately he was not able to get it done. But I wish that he was able to. I really do. And if you have a TikTok following, you enjoy TikTok, then hey, go ahead. If you like doing the dances, that's fine. I'm no dancer myself. I got 2 left feet. If I try to dance, I might break my back. You understand? I already got that bad knee. That's going to go crumple to the ground if I try to do some dances on TikTok. That's not my wave, but if that's your wave, that's fine. But I think my point here, talking about TikTok and Gettr and these social media platforms, you should know what you're getting yourself into. If you want to go to these platforms, understand what China is into, what China does, and how they steal your data. They do that over here in the States, but if you had a gun to your noggin, what would you prefer? To have your data mined and stolen by the U.S. or by the Chinese Communist Party? The choice is yours. I mean, you could do what you want. I mean, I can't really say that I've seen a millionaire just get vanished over here in the States. Just, okay, you're on TV one day, right? You're talking to kids and everything else. And then the next day you're gone. Boom. And they don't see you no more for like 2 months. And you come back basically reading a hostage letter. Okay, talking about, nah, it's all good. I wasn't even, nothing was wrong. Just like the tennis player? I can't remember her name right now, but also Jack Ma, the Chinese billionaire. I saw a Chinese guy say that in China, if you become rich like that, you go to jail or you die. If you become rich, understand this, if you become rich in China, you go to jail or you die. They say that over here about the young dope boys that get involved in the game. Either you're going to go to jail or die. But if you become a legitimate businessman in China, I mean, it's a wrap. They're gonna get you and they're gonna do whatever they want. That's how it is in China. So if I was a betting man and I had to put some money on the table on the U.S. or China, I'm gonna pick the U.S. all day long. Are we flawed? Yes. Is everything peaches and cream and rainbows over here? Not necessarily, but in China, it's clearly much worse. All right, I ain't trying to go to China and eat no Gettr oil on my hero sandwich. I don't really want it, not at all. And if you don't know about Gettr oil, I don't want to be too graphic right here, but basically, how you have sewage systems, you could take stuff from the sewage system and use it. I'll leave it right there, and you can do some your own independent research on that. Gettr oil, what's that? Do people use it? Can they buy it? Can they sell it? Do they put that on your hot dog and hamburger in Beijing or somewhere? I don't know. Y'all look it up for yourself. But anyway, thank you for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you enjoy what you're hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I'm going to talk about Alvin Bragg, K, for sure. Matter of fact, that's probably a good segue right there. Let's talk about Eric Adams, shall we? Now, Eric Adams is the new mayor of New York City. And what's my man's name? Alvin Bragg is the new DA of Manhattan. Now, Eric Adams, he black. He's a new mayor. He ran on this whole thing about trying to crack down on crime because at the time, and even still right now, there's a lot of crime happening in New York City. And I think Bill de Blasio was on this whole kick about defunding the police and police reform, all this and that and the third. And you had a lot of problems and chaos in New York City. The same way it is now, but when he was running, definitely during the warmer times, it was really crazy because I know about New York a little bit. I know people up there. I know people that's from there. When it gets warm, people get crazy. When it's cold and what y'all call it brick, when it's brick outside, y'all kind of are a little bit more calm. But when the summertime hits, all bets are off. Guys go crazy in New York City. The crime does, at least. So when he was campaigning during that time, he was talking about trying to be tougher on crime and getting the criminals locked up. I think it's a former NYPD police officer. I'm not sure if he rose in rank or whatever, but he was talking about that at that time. But then here comes the DA, Alvin Bragg, the brand new DA, and he's talking about being soft on crime. And as a matter of fact, there's an article I want to pull up because there's a whole list of things that he does not want to prosecute. Speaking about Alvin Bragg, I mean, he's basically, if you don't kill somebody outright on purpose, like if you don't go to somebody and just shoot them point blank, you probably won't go to the penitentiary at all, which is crazy. And he's talking about not even giving beyond 20 years in the penitentiary. No 20 to life anymore, which is crazy. And what's going to happen is if he's able to get his way, you're going to have New York become East San Francisco, because that's what's happening right now in San Fran and also in the Bay Area. And before I get to Alvin Bragg, let me just pause for a minute. There's another story that came out speaking about the Bay Area and lawlessness. Have you guys seen the trans Jeopardy winner? I think they're labeling this person as the winningest woman in Jeopardy history. I think that's what they're trying to say. But this is not a woman. This is a man. They may identify as a woman, and that's fine. This is a man, though, okay? So you see the headline, reigning Jeopardy champion Amy Schneider. I'm not sure what the birth name was. Adam. Anyway, Amy Schneider robbed at gunpoint in Oakland. Police said they were still looking into Schneider's robbery and had not made any arrests in connection with the crime. So this is in Oakland, and the person lives in Oakland. I'm not really sure why. It's super dangerous in Oakland, in the Bay Area, okay, especially in a place like Oakland. But here's my my thing about it. The LGBT status does not really protect this person, huh? They ain't really care about, oh, you the first trans Jeopardy champion. They don't care nothing about that. They don't care about you trailblazing. It's like, look, you out here, you just walking around like ain't nothing going on. Give it up. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was in broad daylight. Not in the least bit. Okay? So let me see. So the person won, or the person has been winning. So if I'm in Oakland and this person says they live in Oakland, I'm trying to find you if I'm a criminal. I know I'm in a place where there's little to no laws. It's basically the wild, wild west in the literal sense. Okay. You on the left coast, the west coast, in the place where you're not going to get prosecuted. Anybody going to tell on you. And you've won almost $1 million, almost like $900,000. You won that much money. I know you got some money on you. You got those little pearls and whatnot on your neck on the show. Let me get that. You're a target. You're food right now. Okay. This is what happens when you have lawlessness in the place. People aren't safe. But anyway, so here is the story about Alvin Bragg, the new DA in Manhattan, in New York City. So you see the headline, Manhattan DA to stop seeking prison sentences in slew of criminal cases. I might do a video about this specifically right here. But there's a whole lot going on. Let me see if I can kind of find the list directly just to cut down to it. Let me see. Hold on. I'm going to read this little piece right here. Assistant district attorneys must also now keep in mind the, quote, impacts of incarceration, including whether it really does increase public safety, potential future barriers to convicts involved in housing and employment, the financial cost of prison, and racial disparities over who gets time, Bragg instructed. So that's his words. This is what he's saying. We have to understand the impacts of incarceration. Okay, you might have robbed an old lady, beat her in the head with a brick. She's 95 years old and she died. But when we put you in jail, we got to understand the impact of what that does to the community and how your kids are going to suffer. It's like, well, you should have thought about that before you robbed the old lady and beat her in the head with a brick. Just maybe that would have made sense, right? So here's a memo. Armed robbers who use guns or other deadly weapons to stick up stores and other businesses will be prosecuted only for petty larceny. So check it out. You can have a gun, right? You got a gun in the store. Get on the ground right now. You're robbing the business, tie them up. You're going to get a petty larceny. Petty larceny? I used a gun to rob you. Nah, petty larceny. Anyway, a misdemeanor, provided no victims were seriously injured and there's no, quote, genuine risk of physical harm to anyone. So you could use a gun to commit a crime. You could armed robbery, petty larceny. Armed robbery. Don't they have really tight gun laws in New York City? So if you use an illegal weapon to rob a bodega, you would get a petty larceny charge. They're talking about, we got to have tough gun laws and background checks. I can't tell. Maybe if somebody uses a weapon to rob a liquor store or something like that in New York City, maybe they should get more than petty larceny. How are you going to talk about we need more gun laws when you don't enforce the current gun laws that are on the books? Make that make sense for me. I'll wait. Okay, and then it says petty larceny. Wait, hold on. Armed robbery, a Class B felony, will typically be punishable by a maximum of 25 years in the penitentiary, while petty larceny subjects offenders to 364 days in jail and $1,000 fine. So 1 year in jail, not even the penitentiary, no big rocks, little rocks. You go on Rikers Island for 1 year max and pay $1,000 fine. I mean, if I rob a store and I get a big enough lick, as the cool kids say, I could pay my fine from my proceeds. Like, what are we talking about here? Also, convicted criminals caught with weapons other than guns will have those felony charges downgraded to misdemeanors unless they're also charged with more serious offenses. Criminal possession of a weapon in the third degree, a Class D felony, is punishable by 7 years behind bars. So they're going to have that downgraded to a misdemeanor. Again, you got tough gun laws. How about enforcing these laws on criminals? You know, the common civilian is one thing. I support reducing gun laws for regular people, you know, non-criminals. But if you get caught with an illegal weapon and you committed a crime with it, why would you just get a misdemeanor? You know, that's crazy. Burglars who steal from residential storage areas, parts of homes that aren't, quote, accessible to a living area, and businesses located in mixed-use buildings will be prosecuted for a low-level Class D felony that only covers break-ins instead of far more serious crimes. Those more serious crimes, Class B and C felonies, will be punishable by the 25 and 15 years in the penitentiary, respectively. Drug dealers, here's something else. Drug dealers believed to be, quote, acting as a low-level agent of seller, unquote, will be prosecuted only for misdemeanor possession. Also, suspected dealers will only be prosecuted on felony charges if they're also accused of more serious crimes or are actually caught in the act of selling drugs. That felony would mean facing up to 7 years in the penitentiary. Okay, so, I mean, really, really soft on crime. Eric Adams said he's going to be hard on crime, but I can't tell. I cannot tell. It's going to be pretty soft to me. And if you want to have a city that's safe, if you want to actually bring peace to a particular place, this can't be the way we go forward. It can't be the way we go forward. And Eric Adams said previously that he's pretty much locked up with Alvin Bragg, the new DA. So Eric Adams, the mayor, he's on board. The DA is on board. If you're living in New York City, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if you're a criminal in New York City, then you're going to have a field day. If you're a normie, then it's going to be hard, man. Get you a Kevlar vest and try to survive out there. It's going to be looking like The Purge for real. They say that the conservative areas like The Purge, but it's not. Conservative areas, we empower the law-abiding people. If you want to come to a particular place and break laws, you're going to go straight to the who's goo. It's going to be a wrap for you. And it should be. If you are a criminal committing crimes, you should get punished for your crimes. If you're not committing crimes, you're minding your own business, then you shouldn't be punished. It's so simple, but people don't look at it that way. They look at it like we got to basically protect the criminals. That's what this is, really. These laws meant to protect criminals, not to protect you. Okay? The impacts of incarceration. How about the impact of an innocent person being shot and or killed? I saw that George Floyd's 4-year-old niece got shot. She didn't die, thankfully. Another case in her bed getting shot through the door or through the walls. We saw that time and time again. R.I.P. Sequoia Turner got killed in the car, and Jamila Bowden got killed when she was in the bed doing homework, 9 years old. I think Sequoia was 8 years old, little kids. George Floyd's niece was 4 years old. Luckily, she didn't die. But if a 4-year-old gets shot, they have a high chance of dying. You understand? That's generally how that goes. They can't really defend themselves. They can't really move because they're in the bed in their house, minding their own business. Here comes a bullet through the wall. Now they get hurt and they almost die. So guys that do stuff like that, I mean, you're going to just give them light sentences. And the thing is, a lot of guys don't start by doing stuff like that. They start with just committing a lot of crime over and over again. And when they feel like there's little to no resistance from them committing crimes, they go out and commit more. That's how it goes. That's how it goes all the time. Oh, I could do this and get away with it. I'm going to do it some more. And they escalate each time they do a thing and they get caught and they get a slap on the wrist. They escalate each time. It's like a little kid testing their boundaries, right? Up until the point where they start shooting, robbing, thugging, and drugging. Somebody end up dead. And people are going to be crying. And then it's like, what could have been done to prevent it? How could we stop the whole thing from happening in the beginning? Like, what could we have done? Maybe lock them up when they first started to commit crime. Maybe when they had that gun and they robbed that Quickie Mart, you know, when they put the pistol to Apu's head, when they did that, not you, Apu, but when they actually robbed the corner store and robbed the Indian man, maybe at that point they should have gotten some time in the penitentiary rather than a slap on the wrist. So they wouldn't have been able to come out and commit more crimes and escalate and then kill some little kid. These are simple solutions to me. You know, I said in the previous video that I'll bring the crime bill back. And I kind of mean that to a certain extent because back then, I think the crime bill was, I think it was used in an inappropriate fashion. A lot of times you would have nonviolent offenders get 25 and 25 with the L in the penitentiary. Guys that got locked up in the 90s just now coming home right now because of Trump and the First Step Act. They've been in jail for like 30 years, nonviolent. But see, we've gone the other way nowadays. Now we've gone to the point where you letting criminals, like hardcore violent criminals, out. Violent criminals. Guys that are so violent, as soon as they get out, they commit a murder. That the day of their release, they commit a murder. Violent criminals should be in the joint. Now, if you were just a regular guy with some weed in your car for your personal use, I mean, that's different. That's not a go to Rikers Island or a gulag type thing, in my opinion. However, if you have been committing crimes over and over, you got a gun, robbing the store, beating little ladies in the head, you need to go to the penitentiary and don't come home no more. That's just kind of how that works. If you don't want to do right in society, you want to be a menace to society, you just want to terrorize society, then you got to leave society. That's how I would carry it. If I was a king and I could just do whatever I want, I'd do it like that. If you could not cooperate in society properly, then you got to go. Kicked out of society. That's just how that goes. Wood chipper, absolutely. 100%. 1,000%. Now, Eric Adams, speaking about him right quick, people got upset at what he said, speaking about low-skilled workers. But I think people just kind of sensitive to people they didn't like how we said it. They kind of got offended. It hurt their feelings. It's like, man, you didn't have to say it like that. But what he said was right. And again, I'm no fan of Eric Adams, obviously. His policies are crazy, talking about he supports the vax mandate and he may support a booster mandate for city employees. So I'm no fan of his by any stretch of the imagination, not at all. But what he said about low-skilled workers was right on point. And it's not any kind of insult to people that have these jobs. It's just the reality of the situation. And sometimes you can make a lot of money on low-skilled work, but a lot of people don't make a lot of money on low-skilled work. They're trying to make a living. They're trying to earn money. They have these low-skilled jobs. And matter of fact, I'm going to just go and let them talk, and then I'm going to respond a little bit more than what I said in my video today. Or the other day, whenever I recorded it. I don't remember anymore. Hold on. Here we go. So here's Eric Adams. Get a little bit of sound. That might help, huh? Okay, now I can't hear it. You guys probably hear it too, but I can't hear it. All right, I'm messing up.
With their employees, you are part of the ecosystem of this city. My low-skilled workers, my cooks, my dishwashers, my messengers, my shoe shine people, those who work in Dunkin' Donuts, they don't have the academic skills to sit in a corner office. They need this. We are in this together. And we should be saying to our,
So basically, you're talking about the businesses that have been shut down. So if you have a business that's kind of shut down or you're doing remote work only, what happens is the foot traffic that you would generate in a restaurant has been diminished because who's going to work? Who has to leave their house to go that way to go to their job? And in your city, Manhattan especially, people, they walk a lot. And they go on the subway, get out, and walk to wherever they got to go. And on a lunch break, they go into the diner. After work, they go to a diner. People have to be moving around to have business generate money. If everybody's at home and they ordering stuff online, having it sent right to their house, they're not going out as much. Therefore, a lot of the low-skilled workers ain't going to get that much money. If you are a shoe shiner, you not got that much business. Who's going to the office? Who's going to work? You catch on no shoes. So you're not making any money. Working in a restaurant, you're a dishwasher, you're a cook, whatever you are, you can make no money. You have no foot traffic going to your business. Any business that kind of depends on people going to work to and from, taking little breaks, they're going to suffer. That's what he was talking about. A cook can't do their job remotely. You understand? Now, if you work in the office, you could do your job remotely. All you need is an internet connection and that's it. You could be at home in your socks and your drawers, just minding your business. But he wants these companies to bring employees back into the building. But see, he's right about that, having employees back to the building, and he's right about low-skilled workers not being able to do their job at home. And it's not an insult because I was a low-skilled guy. You could say I'm a low-skilled guy right now, and that's fine if you said that, but I was definitely in the category that he was talking about as a dishwasher back in the day when I was in high school and college for like 5 years. So at the end of high school, like 12th grade, and then all throughout college, and up until I started doing my thing with the graphic design, which is also kind of low skill. But I washed dishes, and I prepped chicken and took out the trash and worked on the machine and cleaned the bathrooms. I did all that. I was basically a janitor back there. So what? I had enough money. I'm able to kind of live life and have fun. I'm staying home with mom. I'm paying her rent a little bit, my little bit of money just for rent. Not that much, just a little bit, right? I'm doing all that back then at age 2021 with a low skilled job, but I was in college or trying to get more education to get higher skills. So that's not offensive to say, not at all. But some people, they feel like, they feel like that's offensive and he's talking down. Nah, it's just a matter of fact. Okay, so I'll defend him on that 1,000%. I say the same thing all the time. A lot of these people that say we want to have more money, we want to get paid more. It's like, well, do you have more skills? Okay, what are your skills? You can flip burgers. Okay, great, but anybody can do that. I do that at my house. That's not a high skilled thing. You got to be able to prepare food in the basic way to sustain yourself, or go to a guy or a girl that can do it for you. Basic food preparation is not that difficult, okay? So why should you be paid that much money to do it? And it's an easy thing to do, which is why you have fast food joints, McDonald's and Wendy's and whatnot. I'm only willing to pay you X amount of dollars for this all right food that didn't take them much to prepare. Now, if I go to a big fancy restaurant and they got filet mignon, all this, that, and the third, it's different, right? That's much different because at that point, now I'm getting some really high quality stuff and I'll pay a little bit more. But even still in that situation, the cooks ain't getting paid that much. Now, if you go to a Gordon Ramsay type joint with these 5-star chefs, then that's a different story. At the same time, you're going to pay that extra money to pay for the person's skill. The lower the skill, the lower the money. That's just what it is. If you want to get more money, get higher skills. So I defend him on that part. But where I don't defend this man is you got the vax mandate, sir. You got the vax mandate. So if I'm a business and I got to be checking my employees for the vax and I got to give them masks and I got to make sure they get all this stuff, I got to test them, see if they get the bug, and I got to do all this stuff every day, spend a bunch of money and retrofit my business. I ain't trying to do all that. I'm not trying to do all that. Just stay home. So if you want to bring employees back to the office, how about rescind the mandates? Do that. Incentivize me to bring them back. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of businesses they're not coming back. Apple, places like that, they're not coming back. You're going to be working remote for a long time. And a lot of businesses are going to probably see their employees flock to one particular part of the country or world. If I don't have to be at the actual workplace to do my job, I can be anywhere, right? All I need is an internet connection. How about I go to Podunkville, USA? As long as they have good internet and they got some Chipotle and Starbucks, then we good money, right? That's all I need. Give me an Amazon drop off, a Chipotle, a Starbucks. That's what they want, right? Some place where you can get quiche and queso, whatever y'all be eating. I don't like queso, but anyway, if you can get all those things, then you're straight. You're situated. Podunkville, USA, maybe even in a foreign country. I was seeing guys go to Vietnam and work remotely, Puerto Rico. Shout out to all the Puerto Ricans in the house. They go anywhere because I don't have to be right here in New York City. I don't have to be trying to fight cats and rats the size of dogs and horses. I don't have to do that. I can just be in a nice little place, nice little convenient suburb or foreign country and be chilling. I could be on the beach working. I don't have to be in this dingy New York City high-rise place working. So that's pretty much what it is. So yeah, Eric Adams, I support you on your thing about trying to get people back in the office, but I think the longer you keep the vax mandate up, the more likely it is they won't come back. They're not going to come back. They're going to stay at home. And I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. Not in the least bit. But we got a few more topics on deck that I'm going to get to. I'm going to read some of the comments here. Costa Rica, yeah, they're going everywhere. Okay? They're going all over the place. Thailand, they're going, heard about guys going to New Zealand. They're going all over the world. Even Mexico, if they want to. You know, they go to Mexico, they can go to somewhere, Latin America, learn to speak a little bit of Spanish, you'd be all right. Okay, now what else we got going on? Oh, the Chicago schools. Now, speaking about places, remote work. So the Chicago Teachers Union, they had a back and forth with the city of Chicago about coming back to work. So I guess they had virtual learning for a while in Chicago because of the pandemic, the Omarion now. They had, virtual only. You had to be at home. And I saw that 1 out of every 3 kids did not have a computer at all when that started back in 2020. But anyway, so they came back to in-person learning. But now they say we want to go back to virtual because of the Omarion. It's raging everywhere and we're scared. We're nervous. We don't want to get infected by that. I think there was at least one teacher that died. It may have been an aide or somebody died of the bug, and they say this is dangerous, this is unhealthy, all this, that, and the third. So we're going to strike, basically. We're not going to be in person at all. So last night, like right around 11 o'clock p.m. Central Time, they decided to cancel school for the next day. So there was no class today. And again, that's Wednesday, January 5th, 2022, right? And they won't come back till at least the 18th. Now, they said the 18th because they think the surge of the Omarion will be done by then. Now, here's my question. How do you know when the quote-unquote surge will be over? Okay, and is it a surge, really? If it's a surge, this Omarion, you know what I'm talking about, so don't nobody try to correct me. How do we know that this is really a surge, number one, and number two, if it is it that bad? Because everybody has it. Is it a common cold? I can't tell. I saw a TikTok clip, speaking about TikTok again, but I saw a clip. I can't play it here because it got deleted by Instagram already. But it's on my Twitter. Matter of fact, hold on. You know what? I'm going to be a rebel and just go ahead and do it. Why not, man? Hey, YOLO. But this is not my opinion. This is just a video of someone saying what they were able to find. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Y'all hang tight. But the person was talking about a test that they, that their brother did for the bug, right? And the guy was like, well, me kind of back up a little bit. So the brother was saying that they told him he had a mild case of the bug. And then the guy was talking to was like, what you mean? You got the Omarion? He's like, nah, it wasn't the Omarion, it's something else. But it's a mild case. So the brother said, hey, whatever they gave you after your test, send me that. Let me see it so I can see what's going on. He was like, all right, cool, I'll send it to you. And what he wound up sending them had a bunch of different things that you would get tested for. Different viruses that are up under the umbrella of the CV, right? But different things, not just one thing, different things. It's probably gone from right here too. So I could probably just explain it to you rather than showing it to you because they wouldn't act funny. But there was like 15 different variations of the virus or of CV, not of the virus that has racked the world, but different things that could be related that are in the same family as this, if that makes any sense. So one of them had a very specific name, and he did some research on it to see what it was. And it popped back as a common cold. I think it was CV229E, something like that. And if you look it up on Google, and I'm probably saying it wrong as far as the specific name of it, but this variant had all the cold symptoms, runny nose, stuffy fever. Like, if you look at a bottle of NyQuil, it was like that. And the actual virus, the SARS-CoV-2, that was negative. But the 229E, the common cold, was positive. Out of all the things that he got tested for, out of the 15, 20 things, only one was positive, and that was a cold. So it's like you're being sent home because of a positive virus test when you actually have a cold. I mean, think about it. Like, this has probably been going on for a while as far as these tests being positive, but not really, also being false positive. They said the flu disappeared magically last year. How did that happen? The flu been around for forever, right? But it took a break last year, just randomly. Where was it at? Did it go to Maui? Did it go to Tuvalu, Kiribati? Did it go to Mount Everest to take a hike? Where did it go? It did not take a break. It was just lumped into all the other CV cases, allegedly, in my opinion. That's what happened. Right? But anyway, so that whole thing is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous how they want to shut down school and go to, virtual learning because of the Omarion, which ain't really nothing. And to get back to that particular point about the school shutting down, parents were upset because one of the parents got on TV and said that teachers are bragging about taking extended vacations and going on Tinder dates, and you would see them in the store because they live in the same area, right? Teachers and students, for the most part, live in the same area. So I see you in a grocery store with no mask on, and we in the same place together. So it's like, okay, so if you can be right here, right next to me, and there's no problem, why not go to the classroom? It's the same thing. This school is not much different than this grocery store in terms of ventilation and stuff like that. So why not go back to the school? And then I was hearing things about, the schools are dilapidated and they have outdated systems. Like, okay, so you're trying to get some more money. Ultimately, at the end of the day, trying to get some more money. It's like 300,000 students that are affected by this, but you want to fall back and leave them in the lurch, trying to figure out a way to get educated because you want more money, you want better facilities and things of that nature. Okay. The dumbest thing in the world. And I think, as I was saying in my video earlier, that we got to do something else because K through 12 public is not working too much. It's not working. We got to do something else. These kids can't read at all. Even if you go to school, even if they relent and say, okay, we're going to come back to school and do in-person learning. These kids, half of them still can't read. Like I was saying, War and Peace, C-Spot Run is the equivalent to War and Peace to these kids. You understand? These kids can't read. And if they can read words, if they're literate, they have the reading comprehension. Like they can read words, but they don't know what the words mean. It's just like back in the day when kids were struggling and they would say, sound it out. If you see a word, you kind of know what certain letters sound like. Just work your way through it. Enigmatic. There you go. Do it like that. So they're reading like this in their mind, but they don't understand what enigmatic means. So when they read a book, when they read a Goosebumps book, they're like, what was the story about? I don't know. Try and do a book report. It ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work at all. So I don't know. Something's got to change. The parents got to change. Everything's got to change. But mostly the parents, the teachers, the school system. And if you're gonna do virtual learning, can I get a tax rebate on that? Why not? If I'm paying the same amount of money in taxes for in-person learning, then why for the past 2 years have you been doing virtual learning? It don't cost that much. I mean, for real, these kids are not doing very well with virtual learning. You may as well just put them in front of a YouTube video, put them in front of ABL Live and watch that. You'll be better educated than you are educated watching these teachers. Okay, much better educated. You're not getting the full scope of your education. And if that's not happening, I want a refund. I want a tax rebate. I want something because this ain't my money's worth. I don't even have kids, but yet I'm still paying for it. So can I get that back? Even if I don't have kids, right? I'm still paying taxes for school. Okay, fair enough. Keep the money if the kids are actually being educated in school and educated properly, right? Keep it. However, I'm not so generous when you're not going to in-person class and the kids can't read C-Spot Run. Give me that back. How about that? Do I need it? Sure, I need it. I want to go. I want to go to the Grand Canyon and get a wingsuit in the Grand Canyon and be a whole video game in there. How about that? I don't care what I do with it. I want it back because it's mine. I worked for it. I paid for it. Okay. I'm writing the federales a check every 3 months. My firstborn child and limb. Take that. There you go. I want that back if you're not going to give me what I really paid for. Seems fair to me, but I digress. I will go ahead and digress. Thank you all for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoy what you're hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And NASCAR, speak about them right quick. I did a video about Brandon Brown, right? Remember, let's go Brandon. He has had a hard time being able to find sponsors because of the whole political thing. Let's go Brandon. Oh, you're insulting the president, all this stuff, right? So he's having a hard time finding sponsors. So the Let's Go Brandon coin, the cryptocurrency, start to say, okay, we'll be your sponsor. Let's Go Brandon cryptocurrency. We'll be your sponsor. Give you a car wrap, do a little intro and whatnot. Now, NASCAR said that they don't want that to happen because it's offensive to the president. Matter of fact, hold on, let me try to bring it up right quick. Let's Go Brandon. Okay, NASCAR rejects they reject Let's Go Brandon car, but the original headline said anti-Biden quote. So you see it right here. NASCAR rejects Let's Go Brandon car. So everything was in the running. It was all good, but of course they're going to be against it, right? Black Lives Matter. That's totally fine, but Let's Go Brandon. We can't have that because that's insulting to the president. That ain't really what you want, right? So there was a car right there, LGBcoin.io. Not LGB as in LGBT, but Let's Go Brandon coin. Looks nice to me. Real patriotic. Loving it. Retro look. I'm not into cryptocurrency like that. You know, not like random coins like this, but if you can get a sponsor like that, then go for it. You can blow them up. They can blow you up at the same time. It could be, it could be a good relationship right there. But unfortunately, they didn't let that happen. Let me see. NASCAR did not speak with Brandon Built Motorsports. Okay, that's the name of his team, Brandon Built. I like that. NASCAR did not speak with Brandon Built Motorsports prior to making a decision to rescind their approval. Oh, so they did approve it at first. So they approved it at first and then they unapproved it. Very interesting. Maybe because it got a lot of attention, or because they got a call from the federales like, yo, don't do that. If you wanna do that, ain't gonna be no more government subsidies, and it might be a problem for you. You might mess around and get the IRS involved with your taxes, with your books. So don't do that. Let's do something else. That could be what happened. I'm thinking that could be what happened. But anyway, they were sending their approval, and multiple attempts to set up a conversation to address this matter went unacknowledged. The team said, adding it went through all the proper protocols to get the AOK from the organization before Brown's new car debuted last week. Oh, so they raced in the car? Or they just debuted it in the video? Yeah. Hold on. It says, we're disappointed that NASCAR leadership has chosen to rescind the approval of the sponsorship and feel they should have the confidence to own the decision to backtrack and not gaslight a team or a driver. So they're probably trying to say that it was never approved and you couldn't have done it. And you presented it to us and said, no. But what happened was they presented it to NASCAR and they approved it, and then they backtracked. And the reason why they did this, they had a little video, is because it was approved. So they wouldn't have put this out if it were not already approved. You see what I'm saying? They weren't rogue putting the LGB coin car and the video out there. They got approval first, but then NASCAR said, no, we're not going to have that happen. Okay. Hold on, let me see. Is there anything else? Okay, the deal was a head scratcher considering NASCAR decided it would not allow any, quote, Let's Go Brandon related sponsorships after the meme spread like wildfire in November. Brandon's team took a shot at NASCAR leadership for putting them in a, quote, awkward position, essentially saying Brandon's getting screwed over. Very interesting. So, yeah, that's NASCAR for you. NASCAR getting woke or what? I can't really tell what's going on. They allow a Black Lives Matter situation. And remember, Black Lives Matter, they put Black Lives Matter right in front of the White House. Like, I think it was on 16th Street. And if you go to DC, that street points right to the White House. It's like parallel to the White House, essentially. It's like, it kind of like bisects it. If it was to go all the way straight, it'd bisect it because it's like right there, front and center, leading to the White House. Black Lives Matter. They did that right there in DC, and that's totally fine. They had Black Lives Matter paraphernalia in NASCAR. That's totally fine. They did all that, but Let's Go Brandon coin, we can't do that, right? Funny how that works. Hold on. Shreep says they rolled back the decision. I'm not for LGB coin. You know me. But how's that Ethereum doing? I sent you from way back with 4 years ago. It's been a long time. It's up there. One thing about crypto, I think I was saying in my video, like Bitcoin is okay to get into and Ethereum because there's a lot of confidence in those. It's being mined. I think you can mine Ethereum. You can mine Ethereum and also Bitcoin. But the other kind of meme coins, I'm not really too sold on those. But Bitcoin gonna go up always because it's like the de facto cryptocurrency, and it's in high demand. But anything else, I'm not really sure about. But yeah, it's a sponsor nonetheless. And if you have a sponsor like Brandon Brown with a Let's Go Brandon, and you got a Let's Go Brandon coin, you can make it be popular and kind of, I won't say mainstream, but more popular than some of these other kind of meme coins that don't really have any traction, if that makes sense, right? Yeah, they had a BLM race car. They sure did in NASCAR, and that was totally fine. And again, they had NASCAR. They had Black Lives Matter painted on 16th Street right there in Washington, D.C. Matter of fact, hold on. I think that's where it was, 16th Street. Black Lives Matter Plaza, right? Yep, it was a 2-block long pedestrian section of 16th Street, Northwest Washington, D.C., right? And I was down there when they had the Black Lives Matter mural. It was crazy. It was like, it was a weird little section of D.C. It was kind of strange, especially at night. It got really weird. It was like watching TV. You see some of the Antifa people and some of these so-called protests. Man, to see them up close is just really weird. That's the best place. That's the best way I can put it. It's weird. Okay. They don't look normal at all. They look far from normal. Speaking about things that are far from normal, here's a tweet for you guys. Now the irony in this tweet is super rich to me. Maybe they can't see it, but it kind of, the fact that they can't see it and that we can kind of underlines the whole point. Right, let me see if I can find it right quick. Y'all just ain't tight. Okay, so here it is. Put it on the screen right quick. So I won't play the sound. It probably has music on it, so I'm gonna get censored. But okay, here's the caption for you guys that can't see. A team builder in Germany used about 700 sheep and goats to form the shape of a virus vaccine syringe on Monday, with food placed on the ground to lure the animals into place. The man said he wanted to spread the message about getting vaxxed. Okay, so they use sheep to create the shape of a syringe. So we can watch the video right here. And of course, they run into it because it's food right there, right? It's so many different little things you can say about this. You got sheep running to eat food. That's all they know, right? They know, okay, I'm hungry. I want the food. So I'm going to go to where the food is at. It's going to be a mad dash to the food. I'm blindly being led by a particular thing that I want. It's food in this case. So you're going to have sheep create the shape of a syringe by being led by a thing that they desperately wanted. The food, in our case, could be the fear. It can be fear. It can be anxiety, whatever you want to call it. It can be wanting to be safe. Just fear, right? That's driving you to go toward this thing. And you're sheep because you're being told things that aren't true and you believe it. Not you guys. You guys are smart. You're not sheep at all. But I'm talking about those that believe in this kind of stuff. So when you see things like this, like, are they trolling us? Do they realize the irony? Do they realize how we're going to look at this? I don't really understand. Okay, they put it on, this is on CBS News. This ain't no just random dude's Twitter. It's a CBS News, verified account. I'm looking at it right now. So they thought, oh, this is hot. You got to put it on the Twitter right now. But we see it as people being led like sheep. I don't know about y'all. Again, I know you guys aren't sheep. I know I'm not sheep. There may be some out there who may glance by the stream and be sheep, but we're not that. That's not how we operate at all. So shout out to all the sheep out there who are being led by the carrot, led by the safety, led by, get the shot. You be able to take the mask off. Food. Oh, take the shot. You can play sports. Oh, you got myocarditis? Don't worry about it. Take these pills. It's all a game. And I knew that it would be a game from day one. Because once you get money involved and these funny doctors, all that kind of stuff, it gets weird. It gets really weird, right? So yeah, that's that. Speaking about all this just weird stuff and just kind of crazy people. Then I get everything. Oh, let's talk about Antonio Brown. Now, Antonio Brown, you guys may have seen the video I did. It's doing pretty well right now. Antonio Brown is an NFL football player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He played a long time for the Pittsburgh Steelers with Mike Tomlin. Shout out to him from Virginia, Newport News, Virginia. He played for a long time for Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. And for the most part, I did not really hear that much about him in Pittsburgh early in his career. Like when he first got to the league, I didn't hear much about Antonio Brown. He's a wide receiver. But after he got hit by Vontaze Burfict on a dirty play in 2016, he's never been the same. He had some things that he was doing before that hit that were kind of strange and just weird. But when he got hit by Vontaze Burfict, I feel like that just kind of that sent it into overdrive, in my humble opinion. He did all types of things. He was on the 14th floor of a condo balcony or an apartment, and he threw furniture from the top window. And it nearly hit a baby on the ground floor. So it might have been like a little courtyard area, right? And he threw furniture outside the window from the 14th floor, and it landed almost at the baby, maybe even the baby's mom. A Goo Goo Gaga, 22-month-old baby, right? Almost hit the baby. And then there was some Me Too allegations that I don't want to get into because it's a little bit graphic. And a bunch of just random stuff, just weird stuff on the field, off the field, just really random, weird haircuts, just things that don't make any sense, right? You go on the teams and cussing the owners out, just random stuff, right? But he's been in the league for a long time. Why? Because he's a great player. Won a championship last year with Tom Brady. He was on the Patriots with Tom Brady in 2019, and when Tom Brady left to go to the Buccaneers, he went with him. And they won a championship that year. And he had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So Antonio Brown's a great player, in my humble opinion. Been in the league for about 11 years now. Yeah. 2010 to right now, 2021. But he might be finished. Because most recently, he took his jersey off, totally off, during the game. So we're talking about third quarter. The actual game is still going on. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find the actual picture. There's a picture of him in the end zone with his shirt off, leaving while the game's going on behind him. Guys are on the field, 3-point stance. Hut. He's taking the shirt off, throwing it in the crowd, acting the fool. He caught an Uber home, an Uber. He left the stadium, put some clothes on, and took an Uber home. And then I think he went to an NBA basketball game that night or the night after. Just really random stuff, right? Now, Bruce Arians, the head coach, said he's done here. He's no longer a Buck. He's finished. He might not be finished, though, because he's so good as a player, and he'll bring in some audience. He'll bring in some eyes, obviously. But his talent as a player can override the weird things he does. I'll talk about that in a minute. Matter of fact, I'll talk about it right now. Then I'll keep on, because I got more I want to say about this. Colin Kaepernick, let's talk about him for a moment. Colin Kaepernick said, I've been blackballed from the league because of my because of my activism, right? I've been blackballed from the league because of my activism. There's a lot of guys who do the exact same thing that Colin Kaepernick does in the league right now. They've not been blackballed from the league. Why? Because they have talent as a player, and the talent as a player overrides all the little dumb things they do off the field. That's just the reality of the situation. But Colin Kaepernick was trash in the end. He got benched, I think, for Blaine Gabbert. He was trash. So it's like, look, okay, you want to be this activist and you want to be out here with these socks that got cops as pigs on it. You want to cuss people out and you want to do all this extra stuff. How about you leave? Your skill is not good enough to overtake your off the field and on the field antics. So you got to go. Why would I sign you? I'm not getting a good player. I'm not getting the breakout year Colin Kaepernick. I'm getting a washed up, probably not even fit, ready to play football guy that wants to be a TV star rather than a football player, right? That's what I'm getting. So why would I? And Kaepernick has no desire to play. He wants to be an activist off the field, but he wants chip on the shoulder to say, I'm being blackballed by the league. They don't want to have me. He doesn't want to play. He's been given chances to play, but he sabotages every time because it's like, why play? I don't want to actually play. I want you to think I want to play. I want there to be a thought that I might play or that I want to play, but I don't really want to. All I want is the idea that I could play, but I'm being blackballed. I want to be the victim. That's what I want to be. That's Colin Kaepernick. Because you got guys that have been to the penitentiary, they done beat their wives, they done drove drunk. One guy killed somebody in a drunk driving accident by mistake. It was a mistake. It was an accident. I don't know if he was drunk or what, but anyway, there's been some really crazy things that have happened with NFL football players, and they still play football. Kaepernick just sucked. That's just what that was. Also, the way Antonio Brown's being treated is really strange. It's really strange because people like, what was her name? Who was the Olympian's name? Simone Biles. Remember when she quit in Japan and the Olympics? Just quit. It wasn't necessarily during a floor exercise. It wasn't right there. But there's different events you got to go to. Okay, you got the floor exercise. You got the balancing beam. You got different events you got to go. You got the bars. You got to spin on. But she quit like halfway through. Oh, I need a mental health break. Just totally quit and abandoned her teammates. Now, she was given all kind of praise. Oh, it's a mental health break. She needs some time away from the sport, needs to get better. Because she falls into that whole LGBTQ feminist, leftist type thing. But AB clearly has something going on. Because that hit from Vontaze Burfict, I mean, he got hit with so much ferocity. He was knocked totally out. His head snapped. It was crazy. He could have died in that hit. We know CTE is a real thing. If you get a concussion and it's starting to pile up, you get CTE. Same thing with boxing. If you get hit too much, you become punch drunk. Muhammad Ali, all these guys, okay, can barely talk, can barely walk when they get to be 45 years old because they've been hit so much in the face, so many blows to the head, it causes some problems. That's probably what's going on with Antonio Brown, in my humble opinion. He's been crazy for a long time, but he's gotten crazier as the years gone on. But people don't want to say that in the media for the most part. They want to say, oh, he's just crazy, and that's it. They don't want to talk about, well, maybe it's the concussions. But I think also in the media, they don't want to do that too much because if you talk about concussions and CTE, that kind of ruins the bag, right? If you're an NFL analyzer, why would you talk about the negative side of the game? Why talk about that? You don't want to do that because now you are kind of getting in the way of the money. And if I'm the NFL Network and I'm hiring you to be an analyst, don't speak on the bad side of football. Talk about he's just crazy and that's it. You see what I'm saying? Even with a guy like Colin Kaepernick, you could speak on how Kaepernick's being blackballed because it's not necessarily getting to the core of how the game is played. Speaking about concussions and CTE and things of that nature and the contracts and how they're not really guaranteed and guys not getting insurance and pensions and things of that nature. That's the uglier side of football. The Colin Kaepernick thing is just kind of a Black Lives Matter political issue that's not necessarily about the game of football as far as how it's played. The twisties, I remember the twisties. She had the twisties, all that. It was all kind of excuses made for her. But again, that's kind of what's going on in my humble opinion. Yeah, I mean, the NFL, they don't want to take accountability for that. They don't want to think that, they don't want to have you believe that it could be CTE. You know, there was a movie with Will Smith, Concussion. I've not seen that, but I heard about it. Heard he had a really bad Nigerian accent. Oh, my brother. But anyway, they were against a movie right there because it was like exposing the league. You can't do that. Don't expose us, messing the money up. It's weird. But that's the politics of sports for you right there. But yeah, shout out to Antonio Brown, a.k.a. AB. Hopefully, whatever's going on, he gets through it because there's some clear problems happening right here with the CTE, with the repeated hits, with the concussions. Obviously, there was a shootout in South Carolina with a guy that played for the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken. This guy shot a bunch of people, then shot himself and died. And it did an autopsy, massive CTE in his brain. And CTE, if you don't know, that's a brain disease. And it's caused by repeat hits to the head. A lot of guys that have CTE wind up doing some crazy things in their life. I think Junior Seau, rest in peace, I think he had it. I think it might have been a murder-suicide. Aaron Hernandez, he had it as well. A lot of guys have it. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong, Brent. There are risks involved. There are grown men. I understand that. You can make millions of dollars. I get it. But at the same time, let's not hide information. Let's put it all out there. Don't try to cover it up. Why do that? If we know what's going on, if we know the risks, why hide it? Be transparent. There are risks involved, just like if you want to be a police officer. I'm not comparing being an officer to an NFL football player. Just understand what I'm saying. But there's risks. If you want to be a police officer, there's risks. If you want to be a firefighter, there's risks. If you want to be working on the line as an electrician out there in the truck, in the bucket truck, there's risks. There's risk in everything that you do, but let's not hide it. That's all. But anyway, you guys are the best audience anywhere on the internets. We'll see where AB ends up. He probably will get picked up still because he has skill. He has skill. When he plays, he's out there performing. He's out there playing. The same thing Michael Vick. Michael Vick went to the penitentiary for 2 years for dogfighting, came back and still played like 7 to 8 more years. It's all about your talent level. What do you bring to the table? If you're trash as a player, you don't have any more skills, and you're also a nuisance, then what can I do with that? What am I going to do with that? You got to go. That's just what it is. Oh, Junior Seau, suicide, no murder? Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for the correction. Chris Benoit? Yep. Chris Benoit, another one. You know, people talk about WWE. They talk about how it's not real. Well, yes and no. And it's like, it's not real as far as the outcomes and whatnot. That's all scripted. But it's real as far as damage to your body. The drugs these guys use are 100% real. And Chris Benoit, I mean, it was just so much going on. Murder, suicide. Like, these things happen. A lot of wrestlers die early, like 40, 45. It's crazy. But all I'm saying is, let's just know what's happening rather than trying to hide it. But anyway, I'll continue to move on. We got super chats on deck. I'm going to read those right quick. Then we're going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. I'll get to those in a few minutes. Y'all just hang tight before I can go in and get rocking and rolling here. Let me go to where I was. Let's see. January 5th. Okay. Thank you to Apu for free super chats here. Apu says, first Wednesday show of 2022, ABL, best wishes for a new year. Thank you for that. He also says, God bless J6 MAGA Patriots in solitary DC jail. Thank you for that. Oh, also, tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of J6. So how are they going to cover it? Are they going to do the half-mast flags on the Capitol? Are they going to do that? Is it going to be some kind of special that comes on like all day? Like how they do certain events that happen. Like let's say, I don't know, a world leader dies. Let's say the Pope died or something like that. They would do this all day thing, all this quote unquote accomplishments. And are they going to do that tomorrow? Because they've been doing that to a certain extent all year. All this past 12 months, they've been doing that on every station, not except for Fox for the most part. But if you turn to CNN at any point in time, there's something about January 6th up there. They did a bunch of documentaries and bringing on live guests, and even the officer Fanone, from January 6th, the Capitol officer, he's going to be on CNN as a contributor. So they're getting guys from the actual event to work for their station. And the only reason why he's there is because he was there during January 6th as an officer who was attacked. That's the only reason why he's there. They've made a whole a grift, a whole niche off of January 6th. So what are they going to do tomorrow? We'll see how that goes. We shall see. All right. But anyway, let me get back to what I was doing. Thank you to Apple, who says, please support Patriot Freedom Project to help. Also, Ray Epps is an FBI snitch. J6 was an inside job. Also, attention, all deep state agents involved in J6 plots. God will expose your treason. Repent and tell the truth to the American people. Also, J6 was done by Pelosi. May God expose her treachery. Josh Foss says, hey, ABL, were you planning on doing a video on the Illinois police officer that was gunned down after pleading for her life? I wish this case got some more light shed on it. God bless, man. Thanks for all you do. I may do that. If I have enough to do a video on it, I may do that. That was a very sad case. Very, very sad case. And I think we're going to see a lot more cases similar in nature in the country. Not to officers specifically, but just in general, you'll see bad cases like that because of what's happening. People are emboldening criminals, and that's not a good thing at all. Thank you to Series A Gamer, who says Hillary Clinton still upset over 2016 election. Right. And, it's funny because they say that Trump is denying the results, all that and the third. But she's been doing that exact same thing to over a 9,000 time level, more than what Trump had ever done. Getting on TV and crying and carrying on. It's like, look, lady, anybody, it's 5 years ago. Let it go. Just move on with your life, right? Get your pantsuits and go to Tahiti. Have a good time. Thank you to Diana, who says, hi, ABL. Please, please, please try to get Tariq on with you and Brandon Tatum. That'd be so epic with you three. Oh, that'd be good. That's a great show. Thank you for that. Apple also says, ABL, what are your 3 biggest pet peeves? People that are unwilling to listen. Like, if I'm trying to tell you something from my point of view as an expert, or not even an expert, just a guy that would know better, right? It's like, okay, if I am talking to Tiger Woods, right, about golf, and he's talking to me, giving me straight game about golf, and I'm like interrupting and trying to correct him, it's like, just shut up right now and let me talk about what I gotta talk about. I hate that. That's the worst. That is absolute worst. Even if it ain't me, just anybody that's talking to somebody. Like I might watch a YouTube video where it's an expert on a particular topic and the interviewer is cutting them off. I hate that so much. Just be quiet and let them talk. Hate it. Also, if I go into your house and I hear the smoke detector beeping, that's the worst thing in the world. Hear that beep, or a little. I have to go. Did it? I can't do the actual beep of the smoke detector, but I hate that so much. It's like, please, if you're hearing random beeps in your house, go get a ladder, get a step stool, something. Go to the smoke detector, go over there and check it, and replace the battery. Get a 9-volt battery and replace it. Stop the beeping noises, please. And, to be serious right quick, to shift into a dark place, there was a fire in Philadelphia. I think it might have been today or yesterday. 13 people killed, if I'm not mistaken, including 7 kids. And throughout the building, no detector was working. None of them, all detectors were not working. So I don't know if it was no battery or what. But maybe, just maybe, if they put the batteries for smoke detectors, maybe it would have saved some lives. So please, if you're hearing the beeping, change the battery. I hate that. My dad was a firefighter. He would always, he'd be heated. If he went to somebody's house and he heard that, he'd be heated instantly. Like, instantly. Tight. Because he knows that it's dangerous. And also, another pet peeve, I would say, I don't know. But the beeping, that right there get me triggered already. I'm triggered thinking about the beeping. So those are two big ones right there. So take this beeping, and people that don't listen to experts when they talk and when they overtalk them. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Also, the first of the month. Oh my goodness, that time of the month is like a human swarm of cicadas. You understand? People can't drive all of a sudden. It's like, man, what are we doing? You go to the store and people have their cart full of junk. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to have things if you are poor. I mean, whatever. I'm just saying, like, if you're a poor person, depending upon food stamps, why do you have a cart full of trash? Just pure trash. You're not helping your situation. I hate that so much. I'm in there with a little hand cart full of just regular stuff. They're in there with an entire cart completely filled to the top and above with complete cookies, cakes, popsicles, Pop-Tarts, pies, frozen food, fried chicken, bags of sugar, Kool-Aid. I hate that so much. First of the month, I don't even want to go to the store because I know I'm going to see it. And I know I'm going to get triggered instantly by seeing the carts full of junk. I want to tip your cart over. You know, it's so bad. I've seen people with carts. I've seen carts with so much crap in it, they can't even push the cart. They got to like put their body weight into the cart to push it down the aisle. I'm like, look, if you got all that going on, put some of that crap back. You're about 500 pounds right now anyway. So you could miss a meal or two, maybe. If you're eating 5 meals a day, miss one, just maybe. But see, I'm getting triggered right now, so I digress. Anyway. Oh, also, ABL, any word on what Van Jones is doing $100 million yet? The $100 million ain't doing nothing but getting them another mansion, getting them some cars, and that's pretty much it. Yes, Danny, 2 carts. I seen that too. 2 carts. I seen them with 2 carts filled to the top with garbage. I just don't understand. It's like, to eat healthy does not cost that much. They say, oh, it's too expensive to eat healthy, ABL. No, it's not. Chicken breast, rice, beans, broccoli is not expensive. It's not expensive. You know, I'll tell you what is expensive though. Going to the hospital, getting dialysis, and being on metformin, that's very expensive. Being on those drugs for diabetes, that's expensive. See, I gotta stop reading the comments. I'm getting triggered again. Also, opinion on Bev D'Angelo. No, White Fragility's book, New White Fragility. I don't know what that is. I've not really seen that. I'm Hawaii. I didn't see the H. I thought it was the N. But nah, I've not read that book, so I don't know about that one. Thank you to Kayas Posthumous, who says people who've been red flagged should sue the DOJ. I agree. Also, what does 1776 mean to you? What about the flag? I mean, it's just the birth of the nation, really. Not in the way of the movie. Obviously, I'm trying to clip it. But I'm talking about just being in the best country on earth. You know, 1776 is like, it's no place like it. And it's also about what we've gone through as a nation to perfect ourselves, to be a cut above the rest. We are the best, period. And people talk about, oh, you were a slave. I was never a slave. You know, I'm a free man. I was born free. Parents born free. Grandparents, great-grands born free. You know, we've been able to overcome things in the past, as the whole world has been able to overcome these things. Well, most of the world. But slavery was everywhere. It was all over Africa, Asia, Europe, the Americas, everywhere. And we've been able to get past it. And we are the best country on planet Earth. And the flag, same thing. Going back to the beginning, going back to the roots, going back to how we started. The way we started is the reason why we are where we are right now. It put everything in motion for where we are. Okay. Also, Josh Foss says, one more ABL, if requiring an ID infringes on their voter rights, wouldn't it also infringe upon Second Amendment? Can you buy a gun legally without a valid ID? Hold on, let me see if I can answer the question. If requiring an ID infringes on voter rights, it doesn't infringe on voter rights or Second Amendment, in my opinion. You know, it definitely don't infringe on voter rights at all. Nope. Or Second Amendment, because you got to prove who you are. You could be anybody. You could be a non-citizen. You could be a criminal. You know, you could be anybody, really. Thank you to Megan, who says, what does it mean to be a team builder? I'm not sure what you mean. That's kind of a question I don't really understand the context of. Thank you to A. Keno, who says, as always, great show, brother. Glad I was off work tonight to show support. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for that. Appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Megan, who says, why do we have American citizens held in prison without bail and without even being charged with anything? It's not good. I mean, we have political prisoners. Basically, we have political prisoners, and it shouldn't be that way. And as far as why, politics, that's all. Thank you to Mike, who says, ABL is the man. Thank you for your time and your hard work, keeping us all informed, often more than once a day. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to Duke Luke, who says, from Florida, stay free, people. Thank you for that. Thank you to 666 King Drummer, who says, I'm already preparing myself for the influx propaganda that will inevitably be pushed out by the media tomorrow. Oh, it's going to be crazy tomorrow. It's going to be crazy. It's been kind of crazy throughout the entire year, as I knew that it would be, but it's going to be on a different level tomorrow for sure. Megan says, when you say a cart full of trash, you mean a cart full of ramen? How many ramen packs can one get with $5? I'm building my shelter. I don't know. These are some interesting questions. I'm talking about all types of food. Top ramen. Hey, if you can get that, then go ahead. If you're talking about having long lasting food, go ahead and get it. Go ahead and get it done. 666 King Drummer says Novak Djokovic refusing to disclose his vax status exposed the Australian government. So they revoked his visa to try and save face. Pathetic. Yeah, that's crazy. So was he going to Australian Open for tennis? Is that what was going on? So he was kicked out of the country. He went to Australia and he didn't want to say if he was vaxxed or not, and they said you can't come into the country. Australia, I don't know what's going on in Australia. Like, what are y'all even doing? At this point, I mean, how long are you going to do this? It's not going anywhere. The virus ain't going anywhere. So why do all these things? For what? What's the purpose? Just get on with life. Get on with life. If you got the vax, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. Whatever you got, just move on with your life. Period. I mean, imagine stopping the whole world for a cold. Allegedly. Imagine that. You know, back in my day, when I was a little boy, you get a cold and still be outside playing with your friends. Sniffing and snotting, but it's fine. You be all right. We had chicken pox parties. Everybody get it right now, so you won't get it when you older and get an immunity to it. Just get it right now. But, I mean, now you can't even leave your crib. I saw Lloyd Austin. Have you guys seen what happened to Lloyd Austin? Shout out to him. So Lloyd Austin, the defense secretary, he got the bug recently, but check out how he normally leaves his house. Let's see if I can find the actual, oh, there we go. So here's Lloyd Austin, our defense secretary, and he is double masked, boosted, all of that, double vaxxed, shielded, but still caught it. Obviously, this don't work. If you did all that and still caught it, maybe it's just kind of like not even necessary to do. Just maybe. It's like if you put on a wetsuit, but you were still totally drenched up under it, maybe it's not really working. Just maybe, right? I'm just trying to just put two and two together. That's all. If you got on the gas mask and you still are getting the gas through the mask, maybe it's not working. Don't just say, "Are you being that's a conspiracy theory?" No, no. I'm just saying, let's just look at what's going on, and then we can figure out if it works or not. And if it does not work, let's do something else, perhaps. Shall we? Shall we? That's all. So yeah, shout out to Lloyd Austin. Hopefully he'll get well soon. But all of this right here, all of that for what? for no purpose. But anyway, let's get to the call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. All right. Let's go ahead and get her rocking and rolling. And there's also an email that you can be right here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen and talk to me. If you're drunk, just enjoy your drink, but don't call in, please, because I will bang on you. I will hang up on you if you've been drinking and acting crazy. You know, for your own good. I don't want to embarrass nobody. I want you to be on here slowing your words and whatnot. So I'll give you a courtesy hang up. How about that? How about that? So again, 434-658-1220. All right, man, what's going on?
Hey, man. It's James in Tokyo. How you doing, bud?
Oh, it's all good, man. What's going on?
Not much. Just kind of going crazy here. There's still lockdowns. It's all nuts. Nobody can come in the country, unless you got the right visa, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of nuts. But you were talking about people going overseas and working places, and that's kind of what's going on here. But I can work from anywhere, so it's all right. But as it is, States is kind of going crazy, so I'm kind of glad I'm here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, where I live is all good though. Where I live, it's totally fine here. I'm in Tennessee. There's no mandates, no lockdowns. Nobody's really wearing masks like that. It's totally fine.
I do miss the States. Yeah. I know AOC went to Florida. That was fun. That was a good laugh.
Oh, that was very interesting. And she got a little tipsy out there dancing with some guys that did not look like it wasn't her husband. It was a black guy. I don't know who that was, but that was all good.
That wasn't her husband.
Not at all. Or her boyfriend, or whoever the Instagram photographer is that she has walking with her.
Right. Well, there it is. People do as they do, I guess.
That's right.
It's starting to snow here. Oh, that's good. I wanted to pick your brain. You were talking about the taxes for public education, and you're willing to pay it if it works, right?
Yes.
Oh, I lost your audio.
You good? Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you now. I like paying taxes just for the fact that I know that my kids are going to get good education here. I'd say I like paying taxes. My taxes are crazy. Our taxes here, my taxes run probably 50%. So you guys be happy where you are.
Wow.
In the States.
50%?
Yeah, it's after you add in everything else. As a matter of fact, me personally, because you were saying graphic design is not a high skill job, and I disagree, being a designer. But I probably pay 63%, I think.
Wow. I mean, good grief. It's like, who do you work for? Yourself or Japan?
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, I could fall down and knock out all my teeth, and I get them all replaced for free. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would cost me maybe $6 to get. I got all 4 of my wisdom teeth taken out like 20 years ago here, and I think it cost maybe $30. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's pluses to it, and kids medical is completely free. But schools, I know what my kids are learning, and in the States, you said something about, if they're getting a good education. And I remember when I was growing up, and I think I'm a year older than you. I don't know, but I remember when I was growing up, the classics, they weren't even things like, maybe Thoreau was in there, right? But it was old stuff. I mean, we had to study Shakespeare. We had to read Plato. We had to understand why the thought system, we had to understand the logic behind the things. And these days, see spot run, I guess. I don't know.
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. These kids can't read. I mean, at all. Basic stuff. And you can see it, especially with smartphones coming out. Like, there, and there, 2 and 2. They don't know the difference. They don't. I think it's all the same.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think parents need to be there watching over their kids. 2 of my kids don't speak English particularly well, and so I have to get them to read. And we're going through reading stuff. I've got them reading Narnia. I've got a 13-year-old reading Mere Christianity. It's half my time I spend as a missionary here. So,
okay.
But you have to understand why the thought process works the way it does. Teaching people how to think and not what to think is a very big difference. Did you ever read Lost Tools of Learning? It's Dorothy Sayers. It's an essay. It's about 40 pages. It's really good. Did you ever read that?
No, I've not read it.
I highly suggest that. It's a fantastic read in how children grow up wanting to basically sing and dance and just memorize stuff. And then as they start to tear things apart in their teenage years, that works really well. My problem is for paying taxes for the public education system, we actually vote in the people who are on the school board. And then you go into the school board meetings and you don't get a say.
Right.
And so I think that's more the issue that we need to. I don't mind paying the taxes. I mind the not being able to get a say to the school board. So where does that come from? I mean, I think we probably need to take a look at that. Anyway, listen, you got a bunch of callers, man. I'll let you go. I'm glad to hear you guys are okay over there. I'm glad to hear you don't have to wear masks. I'm not wearing one right now. I stick out like a sore thumb here anyway, so I'll walk around without a mask and everybody just kind of looks at me. Not gonna help. Anyway, all right, man. Take care of yourself. Be safe.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, man. Be good.
Yeah. So the whole thing in Japan is crazy. 60% plus in taxes, that's wild. That's super wild. I mean, I'll pay for my own stuff if I got to pay for it. I'll pay for my insurance. But good night. It's like at that point, you work more for the state than you do for yourself. Yeah, shout out to my man from Japan, in Japan, Nippon. Let's go to some more calls here. Number to call, 434-658-1220. 773, you don't learn who I'm speaking to.
ABL, it's your Chicago police officer friend.
All righty, man. What's going on?
By the way, I'm not drunk. It's my phone. I got an old phone, so I know people complain about my telephone, or my voice. ABL, when we make an arrest as the police and it's a misdemeanor, we don't have to call anybody. We arrest the guy, we sign the complaints and do the paperwork and all that, give him a court date and whatnot. But when we make a felony arrest, we have to call felony review, which is Kim Fox's office. So just to give you an example, the other day, and this is common, by the way, this crime, these guys steal a car, whether it's carjacked or just stealing it. Then they drive around and they go and they make robberies very quickly. They pull up on maybe a couple walking home from a restaurant or whatever. They jump out, they rob these people. Then they jump back in a car, they drive a few more blocks, they do it again. So the call came out for this, such and such a car, 3 males. It's cold outside right now, so they had hoodies on. They were all dressed in black hoodies with masks. So really, the victims could not really identify, except saying that they were black males and, such and such a weight. They couldn't really identify the victims couldn't identify the offenders. So we pulled up on this car. They all jumped out, abandoned the car, jumped out and ran. We caught a couple of them. Go back to the car, and there's 2 handguns in the car. So they're under arrest. One guy got away. They're under arrest. Now we bring them to the station called felony review, and felony review asked, do they admit to the crime? No, they're criminals. They didn't admit to the crime. So you're not going to approve felony charges because they didn't admit to the crime? I mean, might as well just give me a law degree and we could do the whole, I'll do the case for you. I mean, it comes down to unless they have a slam dunk case, they don't want to approve felony charges on these guys. It's ridiculous what's happening right now in the courts and with these liberal states attorneys and everything else. It's crazy, ABL.
And you know what? It probably encourages them to keep doing it. It's like, if I did this and I got caught and there was no charges really, and I got a slap on the wrist, why not do it again? Why not do it over and over again?
And these are not 40 and 50-year-old guys, and their rap sheets show that they're repeat offenders. They do it over and over because once it's a misdemeanor, they don't do much time, if any time at all. So they're out there and they keep this up. They keep doing it over and over again. And, the thing I hate is these policies that these liberal governments like Chicago with, our mayor and whatnot, and Kim Foxx, the state's attorney, they don't want to admit that the problems that you see in society that they don't even like are a result of their policies and their actions. They want to blame it on something else. It's like 2 and 2 equals 5.
Exactly. It's crazy.
I wanted to throw one thing your way, ABL, and get your opinion on this, because I do respect your opinion. I saw the other day on a YouTube video, Elon Musk was talking, I forget who he was talking to, but he made the observation that even though he doesn't really want it, he thinks that in the future, we're going to have some kind of minimum living wage for people, because robotics and technology is going to be able to do most of the jobs that lower labor people do. For instance, why do you need a long haul trucker to drive your goods across the country when you could have robotic vehicles do that? And that's where things are going. That is the wave of the future. Same with restaurants. They have robotics now that can do some of this labor that these burger flippers can do. These robotics can do it. You're going to have a few people there, handling things, but for the most part, a lot of these jobs are going to go away. And what are you going to do with all these unemployed, lower labor people? What are you going to do with them? Wanted to get your opinion on that. If you think that that's the way you see the future going, also.
I'm not really sure about UBI, because what happens is when you have that, it creates a new floor for people. It's just like welfare, really, the way it is now. If not for the welfare state, then the prices of goods and services would be a little bit less. It'd be a little bit different, because people know that the absolute floor is the welfare. So if we bring that in, I'm not sure how that'd be different than welfare. So all you create is people that are at the very low part of society, and then those that are kind of above them. You create more of a class divide. So I'm not sure how it'll work in reality. I don't really see it working too well.
Yeah, I don't see it working too well either, and I agree with you. It's just another form of welfare. But it also ties in to the education thing that you were talking about. Because believe me, being on the streets and being in people's homes and going into problem homes and whatnot, I see that the education system, at least in the inner cities, it doesn't work. It's really a nursery school to put your kids in, so teachers can be like monitors to watch your kids during those hours. They're really not learning anything. They don't know some of the basic things, not only math and reading and everything else. They don't realize that the earth is spinning and not the sun. They think the sun is going around and moving around. They don't know some of the most basic things. And you know what? In a funny kind of way, that's proven if you ever watched those old Jay Leno man on the street things when Jay Leno had the Tonight Show, where you went and asked basic questions on the street of people, and they couldn't answer the questions, or they were ridiculous answers.
Right, exactly.
Well, ABL, great show as usual, and I'm listening in. So have a good night.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Yeah, always.
Now, think about school. Like it does kind of act as a daycare, unfortunately. But society is set up that way. 75% of the mothers work in America. 75%, and obviously more dads are going to work than the mothers. Parents work. Generally, you have two parents working. If you have two parents, a lot of times you got single parents. So the way society is set up is that you got to have both at the same time, and you got to have school to be in there to behave as education, and also you got to have some kind of, I guess you would say, daycare. That's just the way it's set up. Now, it might not be right. It might not be ideal, but that's just the reality in which we live. That's all. All right, you're on the line. 646, who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing, ABL? My name is Kelvin.
All right, what's going on?
How you doing, man? I just want to chime in on the comments of the mayor of New York City, the awesome mayor here.
Oh, Eric Adams, your new guy?
Yeah, Eric Adams. Yeah. I really don't need. So I was born and raised in New York. I was born and raised in the Bronx. I'm Dominican. And my mother immigrated here. My sister's an RN. I'm an IT consultant, but I do other various things. And first I was mostly a doorman, porter, vacation reliever for a long time. I also drive Uber in New York City, no longer because TLC is requiring the vax to drive. Even though for some reason Uber hasn't asked for the card, I digress. But they're probably doing something there. To the comments, because I literally just saw your video, and that you kind of agree with his comments. I kind of disagree with his comments in terms of like a lot of quote unquote low skilled workers are also in school and college bettering themselves already, and low skill work is kind of like the only work that they could find, and not that they're not educated, but they're going through school and bettering themselves. And so his comments about like, oh, the corner office is like, well, maybe they don't want the corner office, maybe they're doing something else, like you said, blue collar work, things like that, or trade work, electrician, plumbing, things like that. I have a friend that literally went to Scarsdale College, dropped out the first year, went to automotive school, and is now fixing diesel, like huge trucks and construction trucks. He makes like over 150, almost 200 a year. So I don't understand like where you see that low skill, like flipping burgers. Like, yeah, that's a good start. Like I started there at Wendy's, that was my first job ever, and worked my way up. But I don't know, like I see it like he went after people that without those people, New York would not function. Like no, like for nothing in the world. And he's talking about like shoe shiners, like it's 1980s, like there's 100 shoe shiners. There's probably maybe one or two shoe shiners left in Wall Street. I used to go to school and economics and finance right next to the World Trade Centers, down in Trinity Street, Trinity Place. And I saw shoe shiners, but probably not anymore. So I don't know where the hell his head is at. So I don't know, like if you want to explain again, like why do you agree with his comments? Because maybe I kind of missed your message.
I mean, I don't understand what the actual issue is, because he was trying to say that you got to have businesses you got to have them bring back their workers in office, because if you don't have them in office, then they're not going to be able to go to these restaurants and patronize these places with low skilled workers that depend on these guys that are going to the office. And what he was saying is that these guys that work in the office, they could do their job remotely. They don't have to necessarily be they can be remote working, but the low skilled guys that don't work in the office, that don't have that ability right now for whatever reason, they can't do their job remotely. So they have to be where they are. That's where they at. Now, to your point, they may be in that position right now, but they can get more skills. Like I was low skilled too at one point when I was washing dishes, but I was in college to get more skills. And when I got more skills, I made more money. That's kind of how it is. So you're not necessarily always right there. It's not, you're not going to be just like permanently under if you don't want to in America. You could always rise from that. But at a certain time, people are going to have low skilled jobs because everybody got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. I see. I got you. I got you. I mean, I don't know. Like, as I think, I see. I see what you're saying. Um, but the thing is like, I think the way he's saying it, and it's like you said, oh, it still have the mandates. Like it's one is not it's not gonna fix the other. Like it's all becoming a domino effect.
Yeah, I mean, I agree
You
with
know?
that part. Like, for sure, I definitely agree that you still got to fix the mandate. You can't just be like, well, okay, everybody come back to work, come back to the office, and you still got the vax mandate and mask mandates, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you're not really, if you're trying to get guys to come back to the office, you're not doing a very good job at convincing them. So I agree with that part for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Like I have friends that like literally it's like, oh, come back to stay home, uh stay home. What is it like? Come. Oh, they want people to come in even if they have COVID. If they have the vax and they have COVID, like they still want them to come in. So I don't know. Like it's getting like so confusing, and I mean it's not getting it's been confusing.
Yeah.
Um, but I just don't see this. I thought I didn't vote for him. I kind of knew I kind of knew like he was gonna be the Bozo 2.0, and I don't know. I wanted to ask you something. How do you feel? Because I saw the turnout rate for the mayor election here. Why do you think that they put mayor elections? Because people they always like. I talk to people. I'm 37. I
Well,
always talk to my friends.
I don't want to rush you,
They
but I
freaking-
don't want to rush you, but I got limited time, so you got to kind of,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. So why do you think that they put the mayor election different than the presidential election? Because I saw the turnout of the mayor election. It's like nobody votes for the mayor. Meanwhile, he's like one of the mayor and the governor is like the probably the most important, for local elections than the president. And people always care about the president, but they don't care about the mayor or the governor. Like, how can we fix that?
Well, I mean, it's always like that because the average person is not very political. All they're going to do, all they really care about is the president because there's a lot of money spent on a presidential election. You're talking about millions and, if not at this point, billions of dollars. It's not quite that much money spent on your local elections. So people are more likely to go out there and vote when it's a presidential because of all the money spent. And they keep getting bombarded with commercials and television, the mainstream media, all kind of stuff. It's not the same way for local, although it should be. People don't really have that mind state. They have to get bombarded with information to care about any election. And your average election just for the mayor won't have that kind of money. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, AB. I appreciate you, and keep doing the work you're doing, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye bye.
All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. But yeah, people don't really care about elections like that. They have to be convinced by all the money that's spent on the presidential election. I think Hillary Clinton had like 1.3 billion to Trump 750 million. I mean, it's a lot of money. It's crazy. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
What's going on, man? I just want to comment on the Twitter versus, I think it's Gettr, or may not be pronouncing that right, but I think this is a good thing, man. And I hope more people get banned on Twitter to move over, because the thing is, liberals are controlling speech. They are not allowing us to question certain narratives by the government. It's almost as if they are trying to breed a sheep population. And the thing about social media, man, social media is like the only platform that gives us really the freedom to communicate our ideas to people outside of the mainstream media and the mainstream outlets. This is why, like I said, your channel's growing and other, channels similar to yours is growing, because it's new information that people are starved from getting. I mean, if you turn on the TV right now, they're either trying to scare you about Omicron, or scare you about something that Trump is about to do, just some nonsense. So the one thing I can say, man, is I hope these Republicans, I think they should all promote Gettr. I think they should all say, join me on Gettr, just in case. The same way Joe Rogan did, the Republicans need to be leading that. And also, if Trump does decide to run again, he needs to get a Gettr account too. You know, I think I told you that one of my main criticisms with Trump is that he never promoted alternative social media. He had Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, three platforms that hated him, that saw when he was losing the election, banned him. And he had no alternative. He didn't have nothing on Gab. He didn't have nothing on Rumble. No, nothing. Wiped completely off the air. And it really did affect Trump because really, man, I'm hearing Trump Google searches is going down. So yeah, man, this is good. And you know, screw the Republican elite, man. Did you hear about Chris Wallace quitting Fox News?
You heard about that? He went to CNN, didn't he?
Exactly. Where did he go? He goes to CNN. And this is the problem. How many liberals do you see quitting CNN or something just on the left? Staunch Democrats going to like Fox News, Newsmax, or the National Review. These are people that quit. And see, this is why I keep telling people we got so many turncoats in this Republican Party that we're not even tackling censorship or freedoms or things of that nature, you know. So yeah, man, that's pretty much all I want to say. There's not much going on, man. Take care.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
I'll take care.
Great call. Yeah, I was glad about Chris Wallace going to CNN, and I heard that his very first show, flopped. I'm talking about flop like pancakes in the griddle. You understand what I'm saying? Like a whole 8-minute muffin. But I'll get to the next call. Let's go to 559 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, Pat from California. What's going on, man?
Oh, it's all good. About yourself?
Good, man. Hey, you think Gavin's going to sweep California?
I don't see why he wouldn't. I don't see what would prevent him from doing it.
Who's the conservative Republican front runner at this point in California? Because I mean, I'm a Californian, and to be honest with you, after when we had our last debacle, I don't even know who's like really worth the vote at this point after Elder.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've not heard about anybody challenging him at all, so I have no clue. I mean, I don't think people have confidence in anybody on the right running against him successfully. I mean, because the recall was the same as the election. So it's like, what's going to be any different in the actual next election?
Yeah, it's just like Groundhog Day, man. The same thing every single time, it seems like at this point. But what's your take on the movement to split California up? Have you heard anything on that movement at all before, or are you familiar with that?
Absolutely. I actually did a video about that some years back because they're talking about I think the northern part is going to be like Jefferson, like right by Oregon. That part will be its own little state. And then, of course, Central California, like Sacramento and all that, that'd be its own thing. And then, Southern California would be something else. And then I heard about different ones where they could kind of take the cities away, make them their own little places. So I think that it makes sense because California is too big. It's way too big. Like if you compare the left coast to the East Coast, there's many more states on the east than there is on the left. So that I think that could happen.
I agree. Do you think that movement is dead in the water right now at this point, or do you think that it actually has some potential and could pick up steam and become something greater at this point?
It's hard to tell. I'm not really sure if it'll actually go anywhere because of the current politics in California, because they want to be able to maintain power. They want to be able to kind of be like this big leftist thing on the left coast. If they were to break it up, that'd complicate a lot of things. You're talking about you would need more senators and it'd be kind of a mess. So I'm not sure they want to do that. And I'm not really sure that that America wants to do that, to add more states to the union. So it could happen, but it depends on other people and their opinion, I suppose.
Right. And my last question, and then I'll let you go because I know you're a very busy guy, is do you personally believe that there is fraud happening inside of the state of California with voting, and that there is certain things that are shady going on with the voting system in the state of California? Or Do you believe that to be conspiracy, or do you think there might be actually something there?
Well, I think, in my humble opinion, now I don't know anything for certain. Of course, I think that there is some fraud going on. Now, to what extent, I don't know, because like I said, I don't have any inside information. But there's most certainly some stuff going on. I mean, you could pretty much just vote as whoever. I mean, the system is wide open for anybody to defraud it. It's going to happen, because just like if you're living in a dangerous area and you're leaving your door open, chances are you might get your home invaded, or it might be a burglar when you're not home, because I don't have to break in. I could just walk in your house without doing anything. It's just too wide open to not have anything happen.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you 110%. And I totally see your point of view, because I think the exact same way on that. So anyway, ABL, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for everything that you do, and have a great evening.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Take care.
That's a good call. Somebody said right there, it'd be too many stars on the flag, won't look good. I thought that myself. That's funny. Shout out to you. But let's get to some more calls here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. 828, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Tom Shoemaker. This is ABL.
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir. Just wanted to say I'm a big fan of your show. Really appreciate your work, and you do a wonderful job interacting with your audience and communicating with the viewers.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I just have one request. You don't have to do it, but I would love to see you interact with another host, someone that shares your viewpoints or mind stance, and bounce ideas off of them, and then also interact with the audience. I think it'd be wonderful for your show and an absolute joy to watch. That's all I have to say.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good evening. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, I'll be on Brandon Taylor's show tomorrow. Probably if he does it, I'll be on the show tomorrow, and I'll be doing collaborations with different people throughout the year for sure. It's going to be a crazy year, so I'll be doing a lot, y'all. It's going to be nuts because of everything that's going on. So y'all just got to hang tight. Let's go. All right, you're on the line. I'm speaking to 267.
Hey, ABL, what's going on, boss?
Ain't too much, man. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on? Listen, I called a few months back. I called out of Philly. I talked to you, and I was telling you that the gun legislation brought me into politics, and I was red-pilled.
Okay. All right. I remember you.
Yeah. So it's been a minute, man. I can't find, man, there's so much to talk about. So let's first get to Van Jones. Let's get to Van Jones. You said, what was Van Jones doing with the money? I'm from North Philadelphia. I'm from a block called Bonsall Street. It's near 23rd in Indiana, rough area. Not too far from where Meek Mills grew up at. He a little further south, but he's still on the north side. So last year, Trump came, or was it the year before, Trump came to Philly. And when he came to Philly, a pastor got an opportunity to get on stage. And wherever they were at, he actually got up and asked Trump, when was America great for black people? So Trump gave the best answer that he could give, but, obviously he was a little, what I mean? Like, hesitant to answer, but he gave the best answer. Well, I know the pastor. I used to work with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to work at Athlete's Foot, right? When I worked at Athlete's Foot, it was a tech running store, and it was in King of Prussia Mall. Well, some funny business happened at the mall, and I wasn't, in the store, and I wasn't partaking in it. So L and I came in the store and, told me about the funny business. And I told him that I wasn't involved in it, and I said that basically how could, shrinkage be existent when the store is so small, we always watching stuff. So long story short, a woman that I was dating in the mall told me that other people in the store were selling sneakers out of the back of the store.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward, I kind of got the vibe that the manager and this guy that's now a pastor was involved in the situation. based off of things that were being said. You know, after the interview with Ellen Nye, the people come out and say that somebody's snitching. Well, I've been working since I was 16, bro. Never stole anything. You know what I mean? Legit, on the job. You know, I'm not a perfect person, but I'm not a thief.
Right.
So the girl tells me about everything that's going on. She implicates the pastor. So when the pastor got up there, you know, fast forward, this was years ago. This is about 2004. So I was 24 at the time. I'm 42 now. You dig what I'm saying? So
right.
You see the long timeline?
Yes.
The girl tells me that the guy changed his life around and all of this other stuff. You know what I mean? Well, he's now a pastor, and he's like a quote unquote hood youth pastor. So when he got up and asked the question, the first thing I said, America is great when you can be a thief and turn your life around and become a pastor and act like the problem is white people.
Oh man.
You understand what I'm saying?
Great.
Like, bro, I've been calling you so much and I couldn't get through. And so long story short, victims of gun violence, a serious issue, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it quick. Victims of gun violence. He's the forefront of that. You know what I mean? He's going out there on the corners and stuff like that. Well, he met with Van Jones. Of course, he met with Van Jones after he got up and asked the question. So Van Jones then made his way to Philly, and Van Jones fronted the bill for 20 families, which I'm cool for, but they gave $1,000 gift cards, and, you know, he gave a shout out to Van Jones. But here's the funny thing, ABL. The pastor is taking shots at a conservative on Instagram. The conservative guy is also from North Philadelphia, but he ain't a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the streets. The Instagram page is called Unsolved Murders in Philly. He's killing the Democrats in Philly. He's killing the district attorney Larry Krasner, who used to be a civil rights attorney, and he's not prosecuting anybody. ABL, it is jumping in Philly. And it's so funny because I was able to pick up on it because I know the pastor, and I could see that they was taking shots at each other. The pastor's advocating for the Unsolved Murders Philly page to be shut down because Unsolved Murders in Philly is actually showing the fact that Larry Krasner isn't prosecuting anybody. So the pastor that's being backed by Van Jones is going against the conservative. It's so good. I know you got to go, bro. I know you got to go. Do I got more time?
You got a little bit. You got like 30 more seconds. I got a few more callers on the line.
Oh, and Biden voters, I can't find nobody. Last year, I was a weirdo Trump supporter. I was the guy with the AR-15, just talking about gun legislation, blah, blah, blah. I'm right this year, ABL. I'm right. Everybody that believes in Corona, they starting to be like, yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to say that, but, you know. They just starting to be like, yes, it's all coming to the forefront. I didn't even think I was going to get through. I know you got to go. I'm going to call back later. I love you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, but check on the Philly politics. Also, Black Guns Matter, Maj Toure, not 100% conservative, but in the middle, shadow ban. Bro, it's so much to talk about. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep killing them out here, bro.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Wow, that's crazy. Only in Philly. That story was crazy in the first one, talking about when was America ever great, and then he was like, well, when you used to be a thief, and then you start to be a pastor, America is very great. That's dead on, because go to another country and be a thief, your arms be chopped off and everything else. I'm gonna find you no more. But in America, you're able to become someone else. You know, you can do that. All right, let's get to a few more calls here. All righty. Now I'm on 7 to learn. Who am I speaking to?
Speaking to Harold from North Carolina. How you doing, ABL?
I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good. I just wanted to comment on you made a comment about Eric Adams, the new mayor of New York City.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm retired, former NYPD, used to work with him. And the bottom line is, if he supported that DA Bragg, there's no way in hell New York City is going to be cleaned up. The guy walked in the office talking about he is not prosecuting a long list of felonies. So, and to boot, who is going to join that anti-crime plainclothes unit if there's no indemnification for police officers?
That's a good question.
You know, if I was still working, I wouldn't join it, because the first time something goes south, you know what's going to happen? The cop's going to get fired
Right away.
You know,
or worse.
Gonna,
might go to jail. You never know.
Well, it's not jail, but the bottom line is, one of those. I will agree with that guy from Black Lives Matter that they don't need that plainclothes unit. What they should do is put a referendum on the ballot. Those who want police, pay for them. Those who don't, you're on your own. Real simple, cut and dry. No more arguments. No more police brutality. No more marches. You don't want police? Don't. You don't have to have them. Simple.
Exactly. That's what it is. And then if you want that, now there's consequences to it. And if you're ready for it, then that's what it is.
Well, I believe in if you can legalize marijuana, you can vote on whether or not you want police.
Yeah, that's facts.
Bottom line.
Right.
And and New York City is in for a long 4 years, because you know what is going to hit the fan, because these young, when he got on TV, this DA said, if you walk into a store with a gun, you rob people, walk out and don't hurt anybody, it will now be a misdemeanor. Can you imagine that?
That's crazy. That's totally crazy. Armed robbery, misdemeanor. I mean, so if that's the case, then guys are going to do it. It's an incentive. It's like, I'll slap on the wrist for that misdemeanor. All right, cool. We lit. Let's go do it.
And you know what bothers me most, Mr. ABL? This DA has qualified immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my thing is, if I was a complainant or a victim in New York City, I would sue him. I would go after him, because he is not upholding the Constitution of the state of New York, which he swore to do. If he wanted to change the laws, he should have became a legislator, not a DA.
Right, exactly.
Well, thank you for taking my call, and you keep fighting the fight, brother. I listen to you all the time. You're a good man, and I'm glad you're out here.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Take care. Have a good day, sir.
Yeah, it's crazy. The whole thing with Eric Adams and the DA, what's his name? Bragg or something. That guy, a total nut. I mean, make sure I got this name. Alvin Bragg. That's right. All right, let's get to a few more calls. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Let's go to 912. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's going on, ABL, man? It's your boy, Joel Davis, CEO of Joel Davis Media Network. How you doing, brother?
Oh, it's all good, man. What's happening?
Look, man, just wanted to first off chime in on the show. Tell you once again, man, you definitely been doing a great job, killing it with the content, like always. But I want to also discuss about what's been going on with the Antonio Brown situation. Because I know we've been talking about it on all our platforms, and which I'm releasing a video update about it tonight, but I'm going to tell you so you'll know too. Come to find out that the reason why Tampa Bay is not releasing this guy is due to the fact of the matter that he really did have an injury with his ankle.
Yeah,
and
see,
so
I did see that. Like, I saw that he was questionable before the game because he had the ankle injury already. So that was already something that was going on.
And that's what was going on the sideline, is due to the fact of the matter is that that when he was trying to tell them that he could not perform to play because of the injury, that's when him and the coaches start getting into it, and that's when Bruce Arians, that's when he said, well, you need to leave. You need to get off the field. And that's when, Antonio got upset, did what he did. But yeah, they went to a doctor because he was saying he was in pain. He went to the best doctor there is. That's when they found out that he was actually injured still. And that if he would have played any more longer on that ankle, it would have been detrimental to him. So now that's why everybody's hush mouth, because if they get rid of him, he could get them for suing them for malpractice and all this stuff. So everybody right now is kind of like NFL and the Bucks are just trying to figure out the best possible way without them getting destroyed with all this information coming out.
Right.
Yeah, and then another thing I also wanted to discuss with you that you had a valid point about is what's going on with the Chicago school system. I think it's a tragedy that we are letting these teacher unions making decisions for our children when we, as the parents that are taking care of these children and clothing them and doing all we supposed to as adults, we should have the final say, should they go virtual or not. That should be an option. That should not be a mandated situation. And I think that is exactly why we have so much chaos going on right now, because it seems like our options are always being taken away. It's like the government wants us to be one straight way. Do as I say, but not as I do. And it's just destroying the fabric of America.
Yeah, it is. It's causing a serious problem that at a certain point it's got to get fixed, because if it doesn't, it's gonna go down a deep dark road we don't want to go down.
Exactly, a road that we should never have to experience to go down. And it's just disgusting how we as Americans have to really stand up here and have this conversation. It really is. You know, we have to push for our right. Just like what's going on with NASCAR with Let's Go Brandon. The gentleman that is the face of that, NASCAR basically gave this man the okay, and all because it's dissing a sitting president. All of a sudden, they're apolitical. When is that? When BLM was running around here, we had Bubba with BLM and crying there was a noose hanging up in his garage, when in all reality it was the lever to lift up the garage door. I mean, what is this? I mean, this is just childish and it's out of control.
I agree 100%.
I mean, this is how these athletes make money. They have to have a sponsorship. The man is telling everyone, nobody wants to sponsor me because they want to be woke. Okay, so what? It's a crypto company that's got this phrase of the sitting president. I don't know why everybody's tripping, because we just recently had, about 3 years ago, a rapper, YG, made a diss song about Donald Trump, Donald Trump, and it went platinum. And no one stopped him for performing it yet. So, don't that seem to everyone that listening, that's hypocrisy to you as well?
100%. But that's how they operate. You know, like you said, they do as I say, not as I do. That's what they. That if they didn't have that, they couldn't operate at all.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just disgusting, because now this man has to make a life decision. He cannot pursue what he wants to do. He's been dreaming of since he was a kid, and he's from North Carolina, near the way that I was raised from. He can't pursue his dream because you got these naysayers. Well, I don't like the fact that you got a sponsor that says, you know, let's go Brandon, because this is Joe Biden, who we clearly knows that the guy sits every night and eats tapioca pudding and tapping his fingers and trying to figure out when he's going to get a next round of graham crackers by Jill and a nice warm glass of milk. This is where we at.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah, but either way it goes, ABL, thank you for answering me on Twitter, man. Hopefully me and you can link up, hopefully this week or something, or next week, whenever you're available, so you can get on our show again, because we really enjoyed you over there.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you too, man. Take care.
All right, talk to my man from Joel Davis Media Network. That's Joel Davis Media Network. No, I said that kind of fast. So get to the next call here. Let's go to, all right, 479 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Andrew Stockton.
All righty, what's going on?
Hey, I had a question, if it's okay.
Okay. Do you have the stream turned off in the background?
Oh shoot, I forgot to do that. I could turn it down. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yes, about that guy that's in charge in New York. He's a DA. Is that right?
The mayor and the DA. The DA is Alvin Bragg.
Yeah. Why can't they recall him like they did with they tried to do with Gavin Newsom? It's all through the country, right? You can do that if you're not happy with the man's job, right?
I'm not sure how that works in different states and for different positions of government. That's a good question, but I'm not really sure how that works. And then also, is it going to be successful? Because he just got elected like recently. Right. He just became a DA. So I think Cy Vance was a DA before him. So he's newly elected. So I think that people voted for him. So it's a matter of will it even work if they could?
I see. I wasn't sure about the laws, if that was throughout the country or if it was by state by state. I know, California, of course, crazy California. Thank God they have that law in there. Otherwise, that state would be probably worse off. But
probably
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I
watch your show. Your show is great. I love it.
Well, thank you, Dad. I appreciate you for that, for sure.
Do you guys gonna have Tatum back on? You guys gonna have that? Was it the 5-man crew?
We'll probably do that tomorrow on his channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, most likely.
That's a cool show. You guys are great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you for your call.
All I was just curious about the law. I didn't know if you knew much about it or not.
Nah, that's not really. I don't know too much about that, but I'm not sure that even if they could recall him, it even work. But thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Sure. You have a happy New Year.
Oh, thank you. Same to you. All right. Shout out to the caller. All right, Victor, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Hey, no problem.
Hey, that Antonio Brown situation. Did he hear Tom Brady interview when someone asked him a question about that?
The Tom Brady interview?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Well, he set up a great example of how a teammate's supposed to be. Just an overall person. When they asked Tom Brady about that situation in the interview after the game, all Tom Brady said that we don't know what happened. We don't know what issues has going on. Just hope for the best for Antonio Brown that he gets through this. That's it.
That's very well said. That's all you got to say. There's no point in trying to, elaborate and give your opinion. It's like, look, we don't know what happened. You want the best for him, and leave that right there. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, exactly. I watched before I go there, you remember I told you about the high school, South Oak Cliff in Dallas, won their state title?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they had their parade, and it looked like the parade was just as big or bigger than the Chicago WNBA team where they won their title.
Wow.
And what's so sad about that is that Candace Parker, probably the greatest player that's playing right now, a legit legend, won a title for her hometown, and no one showed up.
I mean, it's just people are telling them that they're not watching. Nobody's watching the WNBA. It's not a good product. I think at a certain point, they got to just pack it in and be like, you know what? We're not getting any money here. This ain't really working. And the only reason why they're even afloat is because of the NBA. They're subsidizing it. That's the only reason. They don't make enough money to stay afloat at all. They lose money every year.
Yeah, and they've been in the league for 25 years. For 25 straight years, they have never made a profit. The team called the Houston Comets won the first 4 titles, probably the Chicago Bulls of that era, and they let them go. At some point, they gotta let them go.
Yeah, they got to.
Yeah. in your video on the Twitter and the Gettr, the key phrase that you said was echo chamber. That is what I am afraid of. That social media and what's going on is really segregating us to a point where we're not going to exchange different ideals. We're going to just stay in this one safe space, and we're not going to learn from each other, and we're really not going to understand what's really true.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, if you're in that space, just like kind of quartered off, it's easy for people to forget about you. You over there just hanging out with each other, and you're not engaging in the bigger town square with everybody. You pretty much just being put in the shoebox and up under a bed, versus being with everybody, being able to exchange ideas and innovate.
Yeah, and I think this all started when universities made these safe spaces, which I really don't like, because when you create these safe spaces, then you're creating something like this where we're creating echo chambers on social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. The last thing I want to talk about is the incident that happened a while back in O Block. Have you heard of this guy named Aroy?
No.
Yeah. Well, he was a prominent person there that ended up getting killed. He got into a fight with somebody in his neighborhood. That guy ended up shooting him. Reason why I brought it up, because this just shows how bad the black community is. They know who the shooter is, but they're not talking. They could have easily put that shooter in jail, but they don't want to talk to the police. What they did do, however, is the woman who filmed the shooting, they ended up finding her and beat her up for filming it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that if that doesn't show you that black people is causing their own demise, then I don't know how we could help each other out on this.
I'm right there with you, man, because that pretty much says it all.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
All right. Great call from my man Victor. Thank you for that. Let's get to a few more. And let's go 260. You're the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Kyle in Indiana.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey, ABL, big fan, not a long time listener, but I'll tell you what you do is great. I just want to get something off my chest, and I have sort of a question to ask you. First of all the gaslighting that's going on. For the last couple of years, these riots have been going on in all these liberal cities, and I've been told they're mostly peaceful protests. And then we get up to what's happening tomorrow with what happened at the Capitol, and all of a sudden it's an insurrection. And quite frankly, it just blows my mind that people can't believe what's in front of them. But the question I have is, with all the differences that we have in America right now, and I'm a loving guy, I want to get along with everybody, what can we do to try and unite this country? It's something that we need. Biden said he was going to do it. He hasn't even tried. Trump sort of tried, but there were so many people against him. That I hope you follow what I'm saying. I'm really nervous. I'm about out of breath, so I'm going to let you take it from here, ABL. I love what you do, and really interested in what you think on what we can do to bring everything back together again.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Now, what can we do to bring everything back together? I mean, first of all, you just got to kind of put things in a little bit of, you got to get some perspective here. I don't think that we're as bad as what the media says that we are. I don't think it's really that bad when she's just out there just in the street. It's not as bad as what they want to say. That's number one. Number two, the main thing is just focusing on what makes us a community. If you have a community that was already together before all this nonsense, it's probably still the same way. And if there was a division, it's probably already been a division right there. you guys just gotta kind of get to a common accord. I'm not sure how you're gonna do that, but politics won't be the way because most people aren't really political like that. So I don't know. I think the best thing would be just to not focus so much on mainstream media, television, all that kind of stuff that paints us as one thing, and focus more on just the reality of how we are on an everyday basis, if that makes any sense. Basically, long story less long, the things that they say are so bad in this country aren't that bad. And we got to be able to realize that and just understand it. All right, Scott Caller, who am I speaking to?
Oh, hello. I just wanted to reach Mr. Anthony Brian Logan.
You're speaking to him.
Okay, this is a caller that you heard from a while ago. This is Brian Stelter of CNN's Reliable Sources. It's been a while, but I want to deliver an important message tomorrow. Of course, what's the date today, Anthony?
Today's January 5th.
And tomorrow, therefore, is the horrible day, the first anniversary of the January 6th insurrection in Washington, D.C. In anticipation of that, let me share my screen. 1 second. So I've created Brian Stelter's Reliable Sources 5 tips for surviving the January 6th insurrection. Can you see it?
Okay, I think I see it now. Yeah, I do.
Okay, so step 1. All right, I'm trying not to hyperventilate here. Eat a lot of fiber the day before. Okay, this will come into play in step 5. Number 2, chant the words, "Oh, save me, valiant knight, Sir Tony Blair." The next one is hold a crafting bee with your closest friends, but make sure that you keep the cap on the glue because the fumes will get through your face mask. And then number 4 is use the day to plan the next 2 outings with friends to get the latest Fauci ouchie. And finally, plan to wear brown underwear just in case. So, Anthony, do you have any tips for your viewers to survive that awful day?
I would just say live life like normal. Don't watch the mainstream media. Don't watch Brian's.
No! You have to say, remember, tomorrow CNN, 24 hours of coverage of CNN on January 6th, the day that shall live in infamy, and 9/11 and the Godzilla movies all combined together. You have to. Anyway, I guess that was my job to promote it.
I guess so. Yeah, I think it was your job to promote it for sure.
So you will be watching, right, Anthony?
I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do some other stuff. I think I'm gonna just tune out of that for tomorrow, just for my own personal sake.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. Well, you just take this advice from me, or else you'll regret it. 5 tips.
All right, we got the 5 tips, so I'm prepared. Anybody that wants the tips is right there. Do it if you want.
All right, have a good night.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
I wasn't ready for that. No, I wasn't ready for that. That caught me totally off guard. I know I'm playing along with it, whatever. And then I heard that shrill, that shriek. No, that was hilarious. Hey, good one. Hey, toast to you. All right, let's get to some more here. All righty, in the line, I'm speaking to 607.
Yeah, I'm calling from New York.
All right, turn your stream down for me, please, in the background.
Yeah, it's down.
All righty, what's going on?
Oh, quick question. I'm here in New York with all the, the Omicron breaking out at high rates and all that. And they say, though, if you're vaccinated, you can go into restaurants within like 5 days now. And meanwhile, the people who are carrying the virus are still active, and it's spreading even more than people that aren't vaccinated. I was just wondering who makes these decisions and what your thoughts on that.
I mean, that's a good question. I'm not really sure who decides it. I think at this point, they're just pretty much throwing whatever they can out there and seeing what works the best. And if they think it works, then they'll keep on doing it. If it doesn't, then they don't. I have no idea what they're doing. I think they're pretty much in the same boat as well. They are pretty much doing whatever.
Yeah, but like now they just brought back the mask mandate, and I think a lot of this people wearing masks is actually causing more. You're touching your face more. You're removing your mask. I think there's a lot of, I don't know, just a lot of indiscrepancies I don't understand, and it's spreading like wildfire. But a lot of it's not bad symptoms, but it seems like the vaccinated people right now are spreading more than the unvaccinated people, to be honest, because a lot of the vaccinated are getting clearance to go do things, and they're spreading the virus, I think, more, in my opinion, just from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it seems like to me. Yeah.
All right, man, well, keep doing what you're doing. Just appreciate what you do, and thanks for taking my call. And just wondering, man, hopefully everyone gets out this alive this year.
I'm with you, man. Thank you for the call. Appreciate you. All right, shout out to the caller. I think we'd be just fine. You know, New York City is a whole different place, though. That's a whole different animal right there. You know, that's just what that is. So it is what it is. But you guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you enjoy what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Also, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And the number to call, 434-658-1220. There's also an email for Skype in the bottom left-hand corner. Well, you could be right there in the bottom left-hand corner, but the email is in the description box below the video, right? And also, if you didn't know, this will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. A link for that will be in the description box, or go to your favorite platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Yeah, I mean, there's all kind of stuff going on. They're talking about people, you know, these young sporty guys dropping and killing over from bad hearts, myocarditis, and things of that nature. It's a whole big mess. You know, it's a whole big crazy mess. Let me go ahead and restart Skype right quick. I see it's acting up. You know, and it's not my fault if you're trying to call in right now and it's not working. It's not my fault. You got to blame the white man for Skype acting up. Let's go ahead and restart that, and then we get right back rocking and rolling with the calls. I got a few more minutes left in the show. We'll keep on doing what we do here. So tomorrow, just be ready for what the media is going to show you, because there's going to be some crazy, ridiculous stuff. Just be prepared for it, and don't be surprised when you see the ridiculousness, because you're gonna have it happen. You are going to have it happen for sure. All right, so I think we good here. Let me see. I have no calls right now. That's weird. I think Skype kind of stopped, but we're going to keep on rocking until it gets back. I restarted it, so it should be fine now. Let me see. I'm gonna read some of the comments here. Not super chats yet. We do super chats at the end of the show. I'll just read some of the comments in the actual chat. And do I have another video I wanted to show? There was a few videos I had that I didn't show all of them. Let me see. I showed you guys the sheep one. Oh, here's one I want to show you guys. So this lady, hold on. This lady was on an airplane. And all right, I think we got the calls back now. Okay, we good. Alrighty, Les, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, how are you?
I'm good. About you?
Oh, good. I thought it's funny how you kind of keep on saying blame the white man for Skype.
Hey, it's his fault. It ain't my fault. I blame the white man.
I just wanted to make a quick comment. Well, two quick comments in regards to what AOC was saying about the Republicans' comments towards her because she was out there in Florida, and how she keeps on saying the fact that Republicans are just they're just upset because they can't date her.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. It's like, nah, not really. I mean, that's not what's going on here, ma'am.
But I think that's kind of typical of her, because I remember when I believe it was Ben Shapiro. I don't know if this was like a year or 2 years ago, that was inviting her to his show. And she kept on saying, stop catcalling me. So it's kind of like typical, and with AOC in regards to that.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like a go-to defense. So it's like, oh, everybody that wants to challenge me or have an intellectual conversation, I'm gonna bring it back to, oh, you just like me, you think I'm hot. It's like, no, not really. It's just let's have a conversation. That's all.
But isn't it interesting the mindset of this individual? And this is the individual we have, in Congress. I think that it's like very, it's mind blowing. Let me just put it that way, because I was going to say something, but I have to hold myself back.
No, but I mean, you're right. I see where you're coming from for sure.
And then I also wanted to make another comment just in regards to Chicago Public Schools. I mean, it's typical of them, to be honest with you. And from what I was hearing, there was word that there's like a specific individual, Janice something, who's the head out here for where I live in my area. And she was actually pushing the district schools out here where I live that we need to like very frantically, we need to shut down for 2 weeks because of this Omarion strand and variant. And it's like so important, and it's like kind of like a life or death situation, because I was reading the emails. She got exposed, and I was like, you know what? This is just so ridiculous. I mean, Chicago Public Schools, it's kind of a given, just it's very obvious with them, like they really don't care about the students. It is all about the fact of, these teachers wanting to stay home, be lazy, and still get paid.
Exactly.
And you made a point in regards to those property taxes, because that's the same thing my parents said. Like where my parents live, my siblings do not participate in that public school. They actually go to private school. So that's exactly what my mom said, like, well, can we get like a reimbursement or something? Because not only do my kids not participate in public schools out here, but if you all are still trying to do all this virtual stuff, which it's evident that it wasn't working. There was a lot of kids that are behind and still behind. Like, can we get a type of, refund? Because this is ridiculous. And it is. It's really ridiculous. But you know what, ABL, with Chicago Public Schools, it was just, it was just the obvious, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't want to say like it's a lost case, but as of right now, since there's no strong bone leadership out there, it's pretty much a little lost case right now.
Yeah. Yep.
And I also wanted to comment. I know it's nobody's business, but I wanted to say something. It's very important. We all survived COVID. We had gotten COVID last week, and I'm saying myself, the kids, family, everybody that I know got COVID, and we're still here. So thank God it was just like a flu, and it's nothing to worry about. And I'm still not going to get vaccinated or anyone else in my family.
Man, you good now. You already didn't got it, so you got the antibody. So you straight. You got the immunity, so you good to go.
I know. One last thing, sorry, Abia. I don't know if you saw, but CNN actually posted something really interesting. What we've been saying, a lot of conservative media outlet has been saying, the fact that obesity and being overweight is linked to easily contracting COVID and, a higher risk of dying from it. I don't know if you've noticed, if you saw that already.
I did see that. I was like, wow, CNN, welcome to 2 years ago, but I'm glad you made it to the party.
I know. Oh my God, it's interesting how it's starting, to like the roles are starting to flip, and we'll see where it goes. But I mean, I highly doubt they're going to bring out anything else educational, because their network is just based on solely keeping their sheep asleep. So, but kudos to them for that one. Alrighty, Abel. So I just want to wish you guys a wonderful night, and the viewers, and God bless you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All righty. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience. Now, I got to show that cat video right quick, too, because I was going to show you that before I picked up the call just now. But this video is funny. Hold on. You guys in the call queue, I'm coming right back to you. I promise. Don't go nowhere. Just give me a moment. Hold on. Let me find. See, I done lost it. Now I'm messing up. Now, here it is. Okay. So here's a setup for you guys that are not watching it. The lady is on an airplane, and they remove some kind of blanket from her lap. It's like covering her lap, right? So here we go.
Go ahead and take the blanket off. It's a cat! It is a cat! I told you.
And she had a whole cat on the airplane, right?
It's an emergency service animal, and it's a lynx, not a cat. There's a big difference.
So she has a lynx as a service animal, according to her, right?
It's a lynx. Oh, no.
On an airplane.
Is that real? Is that real? Is that
man, you need to sit back down. You need to sit back down.
Is that a real?
And she's trying to get up from her seat, and the attendant or whoever is like, "Yo, please sit back down, ma'am." This is on an airplane, obviously.
Is it a real cat?
Is it alive?
What is it? It's an emergency service emotional support animal.
Oh, well, that's allowed.
Yeah, that's allowed. Okay. Oh, wow.
Ma'am, you got a whole dog. You have a doll baby. You have a piece of furniture. You have a whole what is that? What do you even call that? You have a you got it from Amazon just recently. Okay, you have a toy in your arms. 30 years old with a toy lynx, playing with it on a plane like it's a real cat. Is that what we're gonna say? Is that a trans living being? Is that what we got going on right now?
Oh, the eyes are
the eyes. So basically, if you guys can't see it, it was a little shot right there of the eyes of the so-called lynx, emotional support animal, and that is a whole doll. That is clearly not a real cat at all. But she was cradling like it was a real cat. A stuffed cat. There you go. Thank you. A stuffed pet cat. That's crazy. So my advice to the young lady, stay off the drugs, please. Don't do drugs no more. Don't do drugs no more. Just cut it out. Alrighty. 479, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Andrew Stockton again. I got a funny story about this cat that you're showing.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Yeah. I mean, the woman said it was a lynx, right?
Yeah.
Does she not realize that if you look under species, that is a feline, that is a cat, and cats are feline?
It is a cat. Yes, it is. 100%.
And another story about that would be considered bestiality, right? I mean, come on, you're breastfeeding a cat. That's kind of.
I'm not sure she was really breastfeeding. I think she was kind of like, maybe it was an illusion of breastfeeding, because can you actually breastfeed a stuffed animal? I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from Arkansas, and I can tell you straight up, they got a lot of that here.
Hey.
Yeah, I've got a story about that. A guy I went to school with had pictures of a man, a farm guy, but he was also a school teacher, was having sex with a cow. Got it, full video.
Let's not. A video.
I won't get into details. I won't get into details.
We
posted the picture. He posted the picture at school where he worked. He got fired.
I'll presume so. Yeah, that's definitely a fireable offense, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, kind of a embarrassing moment for the man, I can tell you.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I thought I'd bring that just to give you some comedy.
Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you're great. Awesome. You have a good day.
Same to you. Man, that cat video was crazy, man. I've seen some stuff in my day, but that when them eyes came out, that was crazy. Yeah, but that's definitely lynx, lion, house cat, liger, lion, tiger is all cats. Big cats, small cats, funny cats, scary cats, it's all cats. That's pretty much what that is. Alrighty. But yeah, I've seen some of the craziest stuff. I mean, some of y'all are crazy. Not you guys, but other people are crazy. All right, let's go to 504 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL. It's Alien Spaceship.
All righty, what's going on?
I wanted to tell you about Australia. I have a half sister down there, And so recently they had a curfew where they were locked down from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Wow, that's crazy.
And,
Wait. Hold on. So 9 a.m. in the morning to 5 a.m.
No, wait. 9 p.m. to 5 a.m.
But still, it's like basically, I was like, okay, you can go to work, come back, go to the grocery store, and then that's it. You can't leave at all after that. That's crazy.
Right. And, like she couldn't go to work and people, they couldn't go to work or anything. And they had peaceful protests down there. And they weren't burning and looting like they do over here. But basically, the police were very, the Soviet Union or Nazi Germany. And they were, I've seen from different live streams on Facebook and other YouTubers. And, you could go to the store and they make you wear a mask. My sister didn't really do it, and they don't clean anything, and they don't like the stuff in there. And if it was really that bad, they would do that. So it has to do with this authoritarian stuff they're really pulling off behind it.
Oh, absolutely, 100% correct.
And there is a bill that was recently passed where they will fine people that are not wearing masks, because in the Northern Territory there's a problem where apparently the Aborigines are being forced to take it, and it's worse up there with you've heard about the concentration camps apparently that are over there and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sydney's the worst part, where they have a lot of more of the police in the streets and whatnot. And it's getting really bad over there, and in different parts of the United States. But thankfully over here we're able to bear arms, unlike over there.
Yeah, over there, I mean, you pretty much every man for himself.
Right. Right. And we just have to, and I'll keep, updating you about how that goes. And I have one question. Do you use the Robinhood app?
Yeah, I do.
Do you like it?
I mean, it's fine. It does a job, and it's free trade. So I don't see a problem with it.
All right. All right. Because I was gonna probably get it. I just want to see what you thought about it. Okay. ABL. Have a nice day.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. But yeah, Robinhood had an issue with the meme stocks, but all the apps had an issue with the meme stocks where they couldn't trade them, where they wouldn't let you trade them. But that was every app. I think Robinhood got attacked because they were free and other apps are not free. So, especially if you get an interest in the pay apps, you're going to attack the free app because you don't want regular guys to get into the game and start making money. That's all that is, in my opinion, because every app had the same problem. It's like if everybody went to the bank and withdrew their money right now, you couldn't do it because the money's not actually there. Your money's not there in the bank. If you get money out the bank, you should be able to get it, but all your money ain't there. Everybody's money's not there. If you have $1 million in the bank, right, and you go to the bank and withdraw all of it, you're not necessarily getting your money. It's kind of a complex thing, but basically the way the system is set up, it's not set up for everybody just to do a big run on it or for everybody to get a stock at once and all these crazy, the way the stocks are just, yeah. But the way Robinhood is fine. I don't have no problems. But again, everybody had problems with the meme stocks back when that whole thing happened. And Webull is Chinese. Or it was, funded directly. Kind of like, Webull is kind of like Gettr, where it's a guy that indirectly kind of funds it a little bit, has a connection to the CCP a little bit. That's how they do. Degrees of separation. Oh, it's not straight funded by the Chinese Communist Party, but my friend's cousin, maybe mama, husband, uncle, auntie, nephew is in the CCP as a lead official in the CCP. That's kind of how they do. Right? So we're broke pretty much. Pretty much, you put your money in the bank, they're gonna lend it out immediately, and they don't actually lend your money. They lend debt, which is what money is. But that's a whole different long story. So I digress. The point is that if everyone went to the bank and got all their money out, it wouldn't happen. Period. And beyond that, most money is digital. What it said, like 98% of money digital. 98% of all money is digital, and it's just created by debt. You get a mortgage, How much is that? For $100,000? Okay, we're just going to make that out of thin air because it's debt. The money don't exist, but you pay on the money, but it doesn't really exist anywhere. That loan, there's no guy that says, okay, we're going to take $5,000 from point A to point B, and you pay on it. Nope. They write the debt up in the bank, and then you pay from your debt dollars. And the reason why it stays afloat is because of the federal government being backed by the military. That's it. And petroleum too. If we didn't have our dollar if we didn't have the petrodollar, if our dollar was not backed by the by the military, pardon me, if it was not backed by the military and petroleum, then we would have really high swings in the currency. Like in other parts of the world, they have unstable currencies where it's worth one thing one day and something else the next day. That's why the exchange rates are wildly different depending upon the day. If you're trying to exchange US dollars for, like, let's say Russian ruble or something like that, or the Indian rupee, or even the peso, peso is a little bit more relaxed because of their proximity to us. But Russia, India is different, and China do whatever they want with their currency. They manipulate it from the central government. That's how that works. Yeah, we could crash tomorrow. Yep. So, I mean, I know that it's kind of a house of cards. That's why I don't really fear nothing, because it's like, what's the point? If I was afraid of everything that could happen, then I would never really be able to just live naturally, in my humble opinion. Yep, that's what that is. So let's go to, all right, 928, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Fredo.
All right, man, what's going on?
Yeah, you might have known me from CNN. They call me Chrissy. But anyways, I got some really important information on what's going to happen tomorrow. It turns out that Trump was innocent, man. I got all the proof here, and I want to know if I can be your co-host tomorrow for a special episode. I really need a job. I just got fired from CNN, man. Like, can you help a brother out, man? I'm struggling here.
I can't bring Fredo on the network.
ABL, man, I love your show, man. I hope you're having a great new year, and keep up the great work, man. I just wanted to call in, brother, and tell you we love you.
Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, God bless America.
Right on. God bless
and
America.
Let's go, Brandon.
There you go.
All right, peace.
Peace. Shout out to the caller. 100%. Shout out to Fredo Cuomo, CNN, the whole thing over there. Shout out to all you guys that are sitting here listening, watching. You guys are fantastic. But that'll be right for the calls right there. I'll go ahead and wrap it up right there. That's a good way to end it. Shout out to everybody that's calling. January 6th tomorrow is going to be interesting. You're going to see a lot of news coverage. I wonder what station is going to be the most heavily invested into the J6 news coverage. Probably CNN. That's all they have. They don't have anything else. Okay, they poached Chris Wallace from Fox News, which was nothing. I mean, poaching him is like trapping a spider. I mean, you're not poaching no big bear or nothing like that that's vicious. You're trapping a little baby insect that don't even know where you're going. So it's easy to poach him. And his first show that he did, the numbers were terrible. Didn't do anything. He was trash in his first show, which is to be expected. They got Brian Stelter and all these guys. They have nobody over on CNN. So all they have is J6. They're going to do that a lot. I think maybe MS13 DNC, they'll be doing that. Joy Reid should be all over it. Okay, the whole squad over there, the really diverse cast they got, they're going to be all on J6. So we'll see how the whole thing goes. But the whole thing to me is nothing burger, nothing to really be worried about. But some are going to be worried, but I'm not. I'm not doing a video about J6 tomorrow. I have topics lined up. I think I might talk about a Jeopardy champion being robbed at gunpoint. Remember the trans lady, or trans person, a biological XY male, but identifies now as female. They got the blicky pulled on them, the pistol, they got the gun pulled on them in Oakland, California, and robbed. And I don't think people don't really understand where they're living sometimes. The person says they live in Oakland, right? On the show, they say where they live at. And then this person has been winning, like, I think $900,000 so far, or in total. I'm not sure if they still on the show. I've not watched Jeopardy since Alex Trebek died. Rest in peace. You know, I've not watched Maya Bialik go on there and do her thing. But so you're from Oakland, you're on the show winning a bunch of money, and you out there just walking, no security, like everything's fine. You're going to get touched. On the left coast, no security, no police, defunded police. That's not very safe, I would say. Not very safe at all. So let's get to the supers, and then I wrap it on up, put the bowl clean on top. Somebody says, was the robber gender accepting? Hey, maybe, hopefully so. Hopefully the robber said, ma'am, please give me your purse and your wallet. How about that? Give me your purse and your Timberland boots. Give it to me, ma'am. So as long as they were, you know, gender compliant, and it's all good. Now the person's okay. It didn't get hurt or nothing. It didn't get shot. It just got held up. So the person's fine. I wouldn't make jokes that they got shot. I wouldn't be that low down to be like, oh, look at him. Nah, he didn't get shot, so he's fine. Or they didn't get shot, so they're fine. My whole point is to say that, you know, all the gender stuff they don't care about in Oakland. They don't care about none of the stuff. You know, they talk about all these different things, this identity and woke stuff. The criminals don't care about any of that. They don't care nothing about you, your personality, your pronouns. It's like, okay, you got some money, give it up. That's all they care about. People don't really realize that, and it's really unfortunate. Sometimes they got to get robbed and find that reality out for themselves. All right, so super chats, and then I wrap it on up. Let me see. Thank you to Butt versus Windshield, who says insurrection ? Lies from Russia bought by Hillary, verified as true speaker. Verified as true by Schumer, Pelosi, liars to try and remove a sitting president and vice president. That is what an insurrection looks like. There you go. Thank you for that. Thank you to FNA Ranger Xbox, who says if you have to get tested to find out if you have a deadly respiratory disease, you have bigger issues. Exactly. Thank you to Megan, who says, do you feel an incentive to have children just so you get more for your taxes? No. That's silly. That's the dumbest thing, because people do that not thinking that if you have kids, you got to spend more money on the kids. You know, but I've seen that happen though. People don't care about their kids. They kind of like treat them like they're just house pets. You know, they think I'm getting my earned income tax credit, so I'll be able to get paid, because they don't really put that much into their kids anyway. They give them. I don't want to go down that road, but yeah, I've seen people do that. I've seen people, you know, say, I'm going to get more government benefits, earn income tax credit, not knowing that you got to spend money for these kids and not free. But if you don't pour into your kids and you don't care, right, you just get in the free check to go eat, to go splurge, to go on the trip and stuff like that, right? It's a shame. Anyway, Buffers Windshield says, easy to fix schools, no sex ed, cameras in classes. I agree. Buffers Windshield also says a few things here. Minimum free wage was tried in Finland a couple years ago. Out of the 500 ? People who got the wage until they got, out of the 500 people who got the wage until they got a good job, 400 didn't do it, failed. Okay. So look up Finland UBI. It was 2,000 people in 2017. Also, is our government one building? Remember, August 24th, 1814, the British burned D.C. to the ground. How can occupying one building threaten our government? Exactly. They can't. Not at all. Not at all. Also, Joe Ryder 84 says, ABL, what is your favorite David Carroll video? That's a deep question. I'm not really sure which one's my favorite. I can't think off the top of my head about specific video names. So I just liked his content. Like when I first started on YouTube, like 2015, 2016, that era, that was the best David Carroll in my opinion. Personally. That could take Conservative Dragon 1776, who says the new vaccine mandates for businesses makes no sense. Whole families that are fully vaxxed, I'm still getting the virus, are the first gentleman in Michigan, got all 3 vaccines and still got the virus. That gets to Joe Ryder 84, who says, ABL, would you consider Booker T. Washington as being the pioneer for black conservatism? if you had to label anybody as that, it's him, Booker T. Washington for sure. Shout out to him. Thank it to Queen My Aunt Girl TV. I said that right? She says Donald Trump was a wake-up call for Black Americans. I strongly believe that more Blacks are waking up and becoming conservative. More of us are losing the fear to speak out and speak up. America needs a red wave, conservative revival. Salute ABL. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I think you're right, because a lot of people were kind of afraid. We're afraid to come out and say anything. It's socially unacceptable, all this and that. But then Trump gave us the confidence to be able to go out there and just say how we feel and not lie anymore, not lie to ourselves anymore, just say how we feel. So, yeah, he was definitely a wake-up call for sure, most certainly. And now we get to see the contrast between what Trump was doing and what Joe Biden is doing, how receptive Trump was to all of us, especially Black Americans, and to see what Biden is doing. You try to talk to him, try to say something, they don't even really, there's no access to him. He's kind of closed off, bad policies, mandates affecting us more than anything else because we're the least vaxxed by choice. We're the least vaxxed, not because we can't get access to it. We live in cities, 80-90% of us live in cities, and we usually live in a Democrat city where there's vax sites everywhere. We just don't want it. But yet they're talking about mandates. If you can't produce a vax card, you can't come in here, you can't go eat. AB was a victim of that. AB, Antonio Brown from the Buccaneers, he allegedly had a fake vax card, and that was a problem right there. And a lot of guys in the league have fake vax cards. The reason why AB got outed is because his chef snitched on him. If not for that, nobody would have known, nobody would have cared. It's like everybody else in the NFL. Thank you to Buffalo Windshield, who says, here's a very serious question. If I identify as a virus, can I get an exemption from getting a jab that I feel would kill me? That's a good one. Conservative non-believer says, this is becoming my favorite show. Love ABL. Do it, brother. Thanks for taking my call. Cal from Indiana. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. Thank you to Eunice, who says, we got the bug. Don't know how we got it. The 5 kids are now doing better. 103 fevers for like 3 or 4 days, but still not 100% from where we were. Friend for 28 years. A friend 28 years, 3-month baby Wednesday got sick. Saturday died fully vaxxed to death. Wow. Really unfortunate. Really, really unfortunate. Thank you for your super chat. Definitely appreciate you. But they don't talk about, I say they, I mean the mainstream media. They don't talk about people that have been fully vaxxed, boosted, shield, masked, and still catch it and die. Young and everything else. They don't talk about that part. Or the side effects. They don't talk about that. Myocarditis. These young 25-year-old men who are very healthy athletes killing over and dying from heart problems. I mean, come on. What's going on? And thank you to Leo Mazzino, who says, unbelievable despite exemption, tennis star Djokovic out of Australian Open. That's crazy. And he had an exemption. So I think at a certain point, once these kind of guys get targeted more, once these things happen to them more, then they're gonna be like, okay, this ain't right. What's going on here? And I'm gonna speak up. So thank you guys for being here yet again. You guys are always the best audience. If you enjoyed what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up if you're not done so already. Also, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.